Golden Age Radio is starting now. Subscribe to get future updates.
Hey everybody, get ready for some great shows. Starting out with Cavalcade of America, Lux Theater with some great Hollywood stars, Groucho Marx, one of the best comedians in history, and also followed by the hilarious Red Skelton.
The Cavalcade of America, presented by DuPont. One 148 years ago this week, George Washington was inaugurated as the first president of the United States. Every schoolboy knows his record as patriot, soldier, and statesman. It is not perhaps so generally known that his greatest pride was to have been named also America's first scientific farmer. If George Washington were distinguished for nothing else, he would still merit a place of honor in American history for his far-sighted efforts to conserve the soil and forest for future generations, and for establishing the occupation of farming in the front rank of honorable professions. Undoubtedly, he would have been greatly interested in the work of today's research chemists and the aid he has given agriculture. In no other line of endeavor does the science of chemistry so aptly live up to the DuPont pledge: better things for better living through chemistry. John Voorhees and the DuPont Cavalcade Orchestra bring us as an overture, Here in My Arms, from the colonial operetta Dearest Enemy by Rodgers and Hart. The DuPont Cavalcade moves forward. In the year 1783, after 8 years of unselfish leadership of the American people in their struggle for independence, George Washington laid aside his sword and took up the plow. One afternoon, shortly after his return to his farm in Virginia, he is seated at the desk in his study, reading a detailed report of his crops. His overseer, John Alton, who had prepared the report, watches him anxiously.
The entire corn crop destroyed by drought and singeworm. Tobacco dropping sharply in quality each year.
The report is discouraging, General Washington. I'm sorry, sir.
I don't think I censure you, John, but I shall hold myself to blame if I don't take steps to remedy matters at once.
Excuse me, General, but even you can't do anything to improve our nature, sir. When the drought comes, the corn is ruined. And as for tobacco, sir, well, all the folks in Virginia know what tobacco does to the soil.
Yes, every planter knows that growing tobacco depletes the soil. Yet none of us has done anything about it.
There's nothing to do but what we all do, General Washington. When the soil's worn out, till fresh fields in the wilderness.
Excuse me, Master George.
Yes, William.
Governor Randolph done come. He's talking with Miss Martha in the long room now.
Thank you, William. Will you ask him to come in here, please? Ask Mistress Martha to come, too, if she wishes.
Yes, Master George, I do.
So I'll be getting back to the farm, General. I'm sorry the report's so discouraging.
It's not your fault, John. You've worked faithfully and well during these many years that I've been away. Your report will be helpful, making future plans. I'll talk with you at greater length in a few days.
Thank you, General. And I might say, sir, we're happy to have you back on the farm.
Thank you, John.
Good day, sir.
Good day.
Governor Randolph of Virginia.
Randolph, welcome to Mount Vernon.
I'm happy to see you and Mistress Washington again, General Washington.
I tried to persuade Governor Randolph to stay with us overnight, George, but he declares he must return to Alexandria before sundown.
Oh, you must think poorly of our hospitality, Randolph.
I'd like naught better than to remain, General. But the Assembly's in session, and I must return. Frankly, I've come on state business today. I've come to plead with you to accept those 2 blocks of stock. Surely you've reconsidered.
I'm sorry, Randolph. I cannot accept such a gift.
With the most generous of motives, the Virginia Assembly voted to give you blocks of stock in the Potomac and James River Company. Your refusal to accept places us in an embarrassing predicament. The members will be offended.
I'm deeply grateful to them, Randolph. But such a gift savors too much of a pension. I am capable of supporting myself and my family. I'd lose all self-respect if I accepted your generous gift.
Oh, but General Washington, this is in no sense a pension. It means only that Virginia's proud of you.
Randolph, I refuse payment from the federal government for my wartime services.
Everyone in America knows that, General. They know, too, that you lost most of your fortune. They know you have no dependable source of income, no profession.
No profession, did you say, Governor Randolph?
Take care, Governor. You offended my husband.
Oh, I meant no offense, General. But 'tis an evident fact that the bulk of your fortune is gone. You are neither a doctor nor a lawyer.
I may not be a doctor or a lawyer, Randolph, but I do have a profession.
A profession?
And I intend to make it the most honorable profession in this land. I am a farmer, Governor, and proud of it.
Farming, a profession? But it's so uncertain. One year crops prosper and the next they fail.
I intend to spend the rest of my life learning why they prosper and why they fail. I plan to earn a living here on this plantation, Randolph, without a pension from the government.
Washington continued to face the serious problem of establishing his 3,000-acre plantation on a paying basis. He corresponded with noted agriculturists in England, and at length he arrived at a number of startling and far-reaching decisions, which he ordered his overseers to put into effect at once. A few days after these drastic orders had been issued, Dr. James Craik, Washington's personal physician and friend, is seated on the veranda at Mount Vernon when John Alton, Washington's overseer, approaches.
Dr. Craik, may I have a word in private with you, sir? I'm John Alton, overseer of the next plantation.
How do you do, Alton? Do you mean your words are not for General Washington's ears?
Yes, sir. That's just what I do mean, sir. The other overseers asked me to speak for them, too, sir.
What's this? Rebellion?
Oh, no, sir. Not of that sort. We wish to ask you, Doctor, to speak to General Washington to save him from himself, sir.
To save him? Speak up, man. What does this mean?
Them wild ideas he come back from the war with, sir.
Wild ideas? Take care.
Every man on the plantation worships General Washington. We all know that for 8 years he worked day and night fighting the British. And the men who half froze to death at Valley Forge say that one winter alone was enough to make any man crazy.
If you're implying that General Washington is crazy...
Well, not exactly, sir. But you're his doctor. You're with him in the regiment. You could reason with him about these wild schemes for farming.
Wild schemes?
Dr. Craik, only 3 days ago, he gave orders to stop planting tobacco altogether.
He must have good reason.
Well, he says tobacco ruins the soil. He says that in 50 or 100 years, the soil of Mount Vernon will be worthless. Well, that's true, but he has 3,000 acres here, and many more under cultivation. And why should he worry about wasting land, sir?
What has he ordered you to plant in place of tobacco?
Oh, outlandish things that grow in all the countries in the world. Siberian wheat and buckwheat and seeds from China. Irish potatoes and carrots and peas, and that ain't all, sir. He's planning to waste hundreds of acres in grasslands.
Grassland? For cattle?
Yes, sir. For cattle and to make the soil richer. He said cattle need good pasture lands, though in my opinion, sir, they're always done well enough on weeds.
Alton, General Washington has always spoken of you as one of his most faithful assistants. Has implicit confidence in you.
And I'm proud of his trust in me, Doctor. But that's why I came to you today. I hate to see him try out these wild schemes and die a poor man. I want to save him, sir.
Because you are a loyal servant to General Washington, I'll say nothing to him of this conversation. But I'm ashamed of you.
Ashamed of me, Doctor?
Yes. There's only one way you can repay his confidence in you.
What's that, sir?
By having equal faith in him. During the war, there were many men who criticized him. There were many who said his military tactics would lead the country to certain defeat. But he triumphed. Did he not?
Oh, of course, sir. The greatest general that ever lived.
And while I know little of farming, I'll wager my last cent his ideas and experiments in agriculture will be equally successful. I'll warrant you'll be ashamed of having doubted him for a moment. In 5 years or less, you'll be grateful to me for not having told General Washington of your lack of confidence in his judgment.
I didn't think of it that way, sir.
If I were you, I'd get back to your farm and start planting that Siberian wheat.
The DuPont Cavalcade moves forward. In July of the year 1787, during a recess of the Constitutional Convention in Philadelphia, George Washington proposed to his friend Gouverneur Morris a trip to Valley Forge. Morris took along his fishing rod, but Washington's interest was not in trout. On their drive through the beautiful Pennsylvania countryside, he had observed a well-cultivated farm. And leaving Gouverneur Morris beside a trout stream, he turned and rode back toward this farm. He dismounts and hails the lad who is sowing seed close to the road.
Can you spare a few minutes, son? I'd like to ask some questions about farming.
Question, sir?
Yes. Do you grow buckwheat?
Aye, sir. Only last week we finished sowing the seed.
Oh, that interests me. I'm a farmer, too. And I've been anxious to learn the proper season for sowing buckwheat.
Well, my father thinks you get the best results by sowing from the 10th to the 20th of July.
I'll remember that. Do you plow the fields more than once?
Oh, yes, sir. 2 plowings at the very least, and the same number of harrowings.
I see. And, may I ask, what is your average crop to the acre?
25 bushels, sir.
25? Why, you've been far more successful than I. 2 plowings, you say. And, how much seed do you allow to an acre?
3 pecks to the acre, sir.
I see. And, what fertilizer do you use?
Well, we're getting good results with plaster of Paris, sir.
Well, now, I'm glad to hear that. 2 years ago, I began to experiment with plaster of Paris. I'm the only man in my neighborhood who uses it, but I'm convinced it's good. When I return home, I shall tell my neighbors about your fine farm, son, and recommend that they follow your methods.
Your home isn't in Pennsylvania, is it, sir?
No. I come from Virginia. Well, I'm deeply grateful to you, my boy. I should feel honored if you and your father would visit my plantation someday. I live on the Potomac.
Thank you, sir. Doubtless I'll never journey so far. We're kept busy from sunup to nightfall on the farm.
I know that only too well. I rise at sunup, too. Not enough hours in the day when one is a farmer.
Oh, boy. Oh. General Washington, you gave me a fright. I missed you and feared an accident.
Oh, forgive me, Morris. You were so deeply engrossed in fishing, I did not think to tell you that I was coming to seek advice of this land.
General Washington? Are you truly General Washington? Oh, forgive me. I didn't know.
I was General Washington, my boy. I'm a plain farmer now. To the end of my days, I hope. Well, I feel privileged to have talked with you, son. This is the finest farm I've ever seen.
Oh, thank you, General.
And if ever you come to Virginia, I shall attempt to repay your kindness. And I'd like to show you my deep plow. It's my own invention. I'm truly proud of that accomplishment. Well, good day, my boy. And thank you very much.
Good day, General Washington. Father! Father!
Yes, what is it, John?
Father! General George Washington was here.
General Washington.
Aye, he talked with me, and he invited us to visit him at Mount Vernon. And he said this is the finest farm he has ever seen. To think it was General Washington, and I talked to him as one would talk to any neighbor.
It was not until September of that year, 1787, that the Constitutional Convention was concluded. Once again, George Washington returned to his farm in Virginia, convinced that this time he would never leave. But in 1788, his close friend, James Madison, came to visit him at Mount Vernon. Washington welcomed him warmly, and now after dinner, he is discussing jubilantly the condition of his plantation.
Forgive me for boasting, Madison, but my overseers thought I was crazy when I gave up growing tobacco and experimented with new methods and with a variety of crops.
You know, General Washington, I've never known a man so engrossed in farming.
It's the most satisfying occupation in the world. It is honorable, amusing, and with judicious management, profitable.
Really? I had always thought it was a precarious business.
It need not be. I'll die content if I feel I bequeathed a few constructive ideas to the future farmers of America.
And you are truly content, then, to remain a private citizen, a farmer?
No man has ever been more sincere than I in saying that he has turned his back on public life forever. I served my country to the best of my ability during the war, but now, at my time of life, I feel that my greatest service is as a farmer.
There are men who would dispute that.
I am proving to my neighbors that the single crop system is ruinous, that fertilizer is essential to the soil, that young trees must be planted to replace those that have been cut down, that cattle need good pasture land. Such victories are less spectacular than those of war, but they are equally important to our nation.
General Washington, you make it difficult for me to tell you why I'm here. I scarcely know how to broach the subject.
Have you brought bad news, Madison?
It is news which will disturb you, I fear.
Best tell me at once.
I bring an invitation, almost a command, to leave your farm for a third time.
To leave? At my time of life?
Alexander Hamilton and I have spent these past weeks sounding public opinion. I bring you the results of our inquiries.
Yes?
We find there is only one man whom the American people will accept as their first president. One man who is loved and respected by young and old, rich and poor, farmer and merchant. That man, sir, is you.
Are you sure of this, Madison? You're one of my closest friends. You may be prejudiced.
I am such a friend of yours, I'd never mention the matter if there were any doubt in my mind. You are indispensable. Upon your decision, to a great degree, rests the future of our country. You will not refuse to accept the responsibility.
No man in the world could place personal preference above public duty.
Hamilton said that would be your decision. Few men will ever know the personal sacrifice you are making. And yet, to you have been given honors which rarely fall to the lot of one man. You're a man of destiny, General Washington. And yet, I know you speak the truth when you say you would have preferred to live and die a simple farmer.
When the votes of the electors had been counted on April 6, 1789, it was found that George Washington had unanimously been elected as President of the United States. On April 30th, 1789, the streets of New York City are thronged with spectators. General Washington has just been escorted in triumphal procession from his house on Cherry Street to Federal Hall to take the oath of office. On the balcony of his house, directly opposite Federal Hall, Alexander Hamilton, soon to be the first Secretary of the Treasury, stands with several guests.
Isn't it exciting, Colonel Hamilton? General Washington must be the happiest man in the world today.
The happiest, madam?
And yet, he entered Federal Hall so solemnly. His eyes looked almost sad. Doubtless he feels the weight of responsibility.
He is America's Cincinnati.
Cincinnati? Who's that, Colonel Hamilton? Oh, your words are so often above the heads of us poor ladies.
Cincinnatus, my dear young lady, was a farmer hero of ancient Rome, who was twice called from his plow to serve his country. According to the legend, he defeated the enemy in a single day, entered Rome in triumph with large spoils, and that very night returned to his farm.
But I don't understand. You mean that General Washington would prefer to remain on his farm?
General Washington, a farmer? Oh, you're joking, Colonel Hamilton. He's a soldier and statesman.
If you had seen General Washington's last letter to me before the electoral vote was taken, you would not say I'm joking.
Oh, but there's not a man in America who would not exchange places with him today. The first president of the United States. Why, my husband says his every word, his every official act will set an example for future presidents to follow.
Why, yes. Anyone can be a farmer.
General Washington has unusual ideas about farming. He calls it the noblest of all professions and insists it requires constant study and experiment. I tell you, he's setting one precedent here today that I pray God all future Americans will follow.
Why, you're unusually solemn, Colonel Hamilton. What do you mean?
It is a precedent which will go far towards making this the greatest country on earth. It's the deed of a true patriot. He is placing public duty before all personal ambition.
Do you mean he honestly doesn't want the honor of being first president of the United States?
He would have declined had there been one other man whom the people would have accepted as president.
Then I sympathize with him. Yet there's no other man I could wish to see take the oath of office today.
Oh, here comes Chancellor Livingston out of the balcony. Will he administer the oath now, Colonel Hamilton?
I presume so. It was Washington's desire that the oath be administered in full view of all the people.
Oh, there he is. I'm so excited. I wonder if General Washington is as nervous as I am.
Oh, hush. The Chancellor's about to speak. See, Mr. Otis holds the Bible.
You do solemnly swear that you will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States and will, to the best of your ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. I, George Washington, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. Long live George Washington, first President of the United States!
Amen to that.
And 4 years later, as all the world knows, George Washington accepted a second term of office because of insistent public demand. But he was firm in refusing a third term. In the year 1797, he returned to his beloved Mount Vernon, where he passed the last 2 remaining years of his life. In his final message to Congress, he recommended the establishment of a federal Department of Agriculture as being of vital importance to the nation. Like Cincinnatus, warrior hero of ancient Rome, he performed his duties to the state cheerfully and without complaint. But the first and true love of his life remained his farm on the Potomac. DuPont salutes George Washington in the words of Light Horse Harry Lee, "First in war, first in peace, first in the hearts of his countrymen," and also as one of America's first scientific farmers.
In George Washington's day, most Americans lived on farms and raised their own food. Since that time, great cities have grown up with millions dependent upon the farmer for their food, thereby making him more essential to our welfare than ever before. And today, research chemistry is helping farming tremendously. Just the other day, I saw a good example of this in Wilmington, Delaware, where I attended the opening of a new DuPont laboratory and greenhouse. This laboratory is devoted entirely to pest control research, and it is the most complete of its kind in the world. I asked one of the DuPont chemists why they go to so much trouble and expense just to study bugs and such pests, and he said,
"We investigate ways of controlling insects because they do about $2 billion worth of damage yearly to crops, fruits, seeds, and plant life. This does not include the additional damage amounting to about $4 billion more done by plant diseases, weeds, rodents, and other pests."
Is this new DuPont laboratory going to experiment on all the scores of insect pests I've heard about?
Well, naturally, we go after the most destructive pests first. One of our most recent developments, for example, is a spray that repels the Japanese beetle.
Bad news for the beetle, but good news for us. Is your work here principally on sprays?
I wouldn't say that. You know, the chemist does quite a lot of things for the farmer. He developed explosives to clear farmland, ditches, and drain swamps. He's discovered how to treat seeds chemically so they'll grow better. Chemistry gives the farmer many types of fertilizers for the soil. And when the plants poke their heads above ground, the chemist provides sprays and dusting powders to protect them from all sorts of pests. Then, after the harvest, there are chemical products which guard perishable foods until they reach your table.
Well, with all that accomplished, why carry on?
Because new pests are always springing up, requiring new controls. And because we're trying to improve the products we have.
Well, tell us, how long has DuPont conducted research to control pests?
Approximately 20 years. And right now, an affiliate of the DuPont Company is building still another laboratory in Delaware. This one will work only on fungicides for treating seeds, and soils, and growing plants.
And so we see how such work means a lot to everybody's pocketbook. For chemistry, by helping the farmer increase yields and cut crop losses, affects savings all along the line. In this partnership, we see one more example of how the research chemist is at work for you and me, creating, as DuPont phrases it, better things for better living through chemistry. Songs of the South, the development of folk music, and stories of how some of the old melodies came into being will be the subject of our broadcast when next week at the same time, DuPont again presents the Cavalcade of America. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Enjoying the timeless classics on Golden Age Radio? If you're loving the nostalgia and captivating stories, consider supporting our channel with a tip. Your generosity helps us continue bringing you the best of vintage radio entertainment. Simply click on the link in the description.
Hollywood, California, the Lux Radio Theater presents Joan Bennett and Henry Fonda with May Robeson in I Met My Love Again.
Lux presents Hollywood. I want to say thank you to the thousands and thousands of women who buy Lux toilet soap regularly. This kind of loyalty is what makes our program possible. And now, before going on, I want to mention that tonight we are making a special offer to the ladies. We'll send them, almost as a gift, a new, smartly designed double compact. We'll tell you later how you can get this beautiful compact, and we suggest that you have pencil and paper ready. Our stars tonight are Joan Bennett, Henry Fonda, May Robeson, Margaret Hamilton, and Louise Platt in I Met My Love Again. As special guest, Jimmy Starr, Hollywood's famous news columnist. Louis Silvers conducts our music. And now, here is the producer of the Lux Radio Theater. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Cecil B. DeMille.
Greetings from Hollywood, ladies and gentlemen. Throughout the land, May 30th is a day of tribute and remembrance. We of the Lux Radio Theater join in paying our respects to the memory of those Americans, men from the North and men from the South, who from Lexington to the Argonne fought and died that this country might have the peace and progress we now gratefully enjoy. Tonight, we bring you the story of a great love which triumphed only after a loss of many years. And starring as the two who lose and find their love again are Joan Bennett and Henry Fonda. 300 years ago, while the ancestors of Joan Bennett were wandering around England and Scotland as strolling players, both my forebears and those of Henry Fonda decided to see America first. They did their wandering across the Atlantic and wound up in a town called New Amsterdam, which the newcomers of the past 274 years have been calling New York. Old Anthony DeMille, arriving from Holland, settled down to raising crops and a family in Lower Manhattan, while Henry's folks went north to a spot near Albany. The Fondas had hailed from the Republic of Genoa, and their name was taken from a valley in the Apennine Mountains. Richard Bennett gave his distinguished name to three daughters, Constance, Barbara, and Joan. Striking out on her own, Joan moved to Hollywood, where the fact that she was a Bennett meant nothing. Glad to get an occasional job as an extra, Joan lingered in Hollywood until her father sent for her to fill a part in a Broadway play. This time, Hollywood went to Joan, brought her back as a star, and brings her to you next in the new Paramount film, The Texans. Unnoticed until his performance on the stage in A Farmer Takes a Wife, Henry Fonda, like Miss Bennett, was lifted to Hollywood fame almost overnight. Currently starring in Jezebel, he's next seen opposite Madeline Carroll in Walter Wanger's film, The Blockade. Tonight, both he and Miss Bennett resume the same roles which brought them high praise in the screen version of I Met My Love Again, also produced by Mr. Wanger. Miss Bennett plays Julie Weir. Mr. Fonda is Ives Towner. And I'm delighted to welcome back in the part of Aunt William that beloved character actress distinguished for more than 50 years on stage and screen, Miss May Robeson. Margaret Hamilton plays Mrs. Towner, and Louise Platt resumes her original role as Brenda Lane. And now, the Lux Radio Theater presents Joan Bennett and Henry Fonda with May Robeson in I Met My Love Again. Springtime in New England. And nowhere in the year 1928 did spring write her name with more wanton generosity than in the happy little college town of Lynnborough, Vermont. Through a meadow not far from the college, a path winds leisurely. Down the path come two figures, a boy and a girl. Ives Towner is 19. Julie Weir is 17. Julie's devoted gaze rests upon Ives, who's reading intently from a book, quite unaware of the running creek ahead of them. Yes, the book is poetry.
Turn away thine eyes from me, for they have overcome me. Thou art beautiful, O my love. Who is she that looketh forth as the morning, fair as the moon, clear as the sun, terrible as an army with banners?
Me, Ives?
You, Julie. and one of King Solomon's wives. Julie.
Yes, Ives.
Julie, Gosh, it's swell out, isn't it? You know,
Ives!
Gosh, I almost didn't see the creek.
Oh, Ives, you're not hurt.
No, just a little wet, I guess. Julie, let's sit down here.
Yes, Ives. Are you sure you're all right? If anything happened to you,
Sure, I'm all right. Just a little water.
Oh, Ives.
Julie, you kissed me. Gosh, do you mean you?
Yes.
Are you sure you mean it?
It wasn't just an impulse, Ives. I love you, and I couldn't stand it any longer. I thought you'd never kiss me. There, I had to say it quickly or never.
Only I can't believe it. I mean, it's more than I ever expected. Julie.
Oh, Ives, I do mean it. Let's go to Upton and get married. Today, shall we? Shall we?
You really would?
Of course I would. Come on. I dare us to get married.
I haven't any money, Julie. Nobody outside of Lynborough has ever even heard of me.
What's that got to do with it, you silly?
It's got everything to do with it, Julie. Everything. I want to be big enough for you. And, Julie, if you'll wait for me, I will be. As soon as I graduate from college, they're going to put me on the faculty. Just an instructor at first. Oh, Julie, maybe I'm just young and foolish, but I want our love to be something different. Something rich, complete. Something holy. Julie, will you wait for that?
Yes, I'll wait, Ives. Only, please don't make me wait any longer if you're ever going to kiss me.
Oh, Julie.
Julie, what's the matter with you? Why didn't you answer me?
Oh, I'm sorry, Aunt William. I was just thinking.
Julie, Carol's downstairs. Is Ives going to drive you into Upton?
No. His mother wants him to stay and string some silly lights on their Christmas tree.
Well, why don't you wait?
No, I don't want him to go anyway. We're going to get him a Christmas present.
Oh, I see. Well, you mustn't blame Ives for not going with you, and you don't want him to go yourself.
Oh, I'm being unreasonable, I know it. It's just that I never get to see Ives anymore. All year he's at college, and we never get a chance to be alone or have any fun or go dancing.
Julie, you know, you've got to be patient.
Oh, I know, Aunt William, but I'm tired of being patient. I want to... Oh, I don't know what I want. I'm being horrible, aren't I?
Yes, you certainly are.
Forgive me, Aunt William.
Julie, are you coming?
In a minute, Carol.
Now, go ahead. And make sure you get back early. Don't forget, the party starts at 8. Ives, now what do you want? Bothering Agatha and me.
I'm glad you come, Ives. And take Aunt William out of the kitchen. Cooking donuts is my business. I'm the maid, ain't I?
Thank you, Agatha. But I prefer minding your business to your minding mine.
Aunt William.
Well, what is it?
I was just wondering where Julie can be.
Ives Towner, haven't you got sense to see it's storming out? She's been held up somewhere. I haven't seen a blizzard like this since the year the barn roof stove in. Besides, if you've been Julie Weir's fiancé as long as I've been around, you'd know that she's never yet got home on time for her own party, and never will.
Just the same, I wish she'd come.
William?
Oh, hello, Carol. Having a good time? Oh, my. You don't look it.
What's the matter, Sis?
Well, look, I wasn't going to tell you, but now I'm scared. It's about Julie.
Well, what about Julie?
Well, Julie and I had a race this afternoon from Upton, and we hired sleighs and horses from Livermore stables, and Julie bet me 6 pairs of silk stockings that she could beat me home. I took the new road, and she took the old Milford road, and I won.
Fine sister you are.
Well, Julie's lost and in this blizzard. Supposing she comes...
Well, now, stop that nonsense, Carol. Ives, where are you going?
I'm going out and find Julie.
Who's there?
Me. Please let me in. I'm afraid I'm lost.
Well, come in.
Thanks. Oh.
Well, what lovely stroke of fortune brings you here out of the night?
Oh, I don't know exactly, but it was pretty awful. I was racing another girl home from Upton. She took one road and I took the other. I guess it was pretty silly in the storm.
Sounds lovely, lovely. Here, let's get rid of that coat, shall we?
Well, thanks.
I'll take care of your horse in just a minute. You'd like something hot to drink, wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Coffee, tea, maybe a little brandy. By your drink, I shall know you.
Tea.
Okay, tea. There's one good thing about a cabin like this. Got everything handy. Say, you're not that bobbed-hair bandit I've been reading about, are you?
No.
Well, if you won't be afraid of me, then I won't be afraid of you.
Please, I'd like to use your telephone.
Who do you want to call?
For my Aunt William.
But I haven't a telephone. You may have to stay here for quite a while. You look scared. Please don't be. Where I come from, they call me Gentle Michael.
Where's that?
New York. I'm just up here to do some writing.
Oh, you mean people really publish what you write?
The wrong people do. You see, I've got to make a living, so I write trash to keep alive. But somewhere in that desk is what I really write. The greatest novel ever written by any American, dead or alive. Look, I'm terribly glad you came in and awfully glad to meet you. I'm Michael Shaw.
I'm Julie Weir.
Well, happy Christmas, Julie Weir. Don't you think all this gallantry deserves something a little fancy? Like well, I've got a little...
Tea?
Yes, tea. Lemon?
Please.
Sit right where you are. This is my party.
Oh.
What's the matter?
Oh, dear.
Julie.
I'm supposed to be giving a party, too, right now at home. Gee, I wonder what they're saying
Hey, Aunt Williams, that's for you.
Oh, maybe it's Ives. Maybe they found Julie.
If you'll turn off that awful music, Hubert, I'll find out. Hello? Yes, Ives? Well, where are you now? No. Nobody's seen her. Yes, and it's nearly 11. No. No, I won't. I won't worry. Goodbye, Ives.
Aunt William?
No. No, they haven't found her yet. Ives is going to call me at 12. You know, I think you'd all better go home now.
Oh, gosh, Aunt William, what'll Mother
Oh,
say?
your mother will have a million fits about Ives as usual. Well, tell her I'll call her just as soon as I hear.
You know, Julie, almost every night in New York there's a new play opening. And parties by the publishers. Oh, it's lovely.
But when do you write?
That's it. That's why I came here to Vermont. You know, it's lovely fun talking with you, Julie. You're like a lovely new sheet of paper to write on. Not plain white paper or yellow, but something enchanting and new and inviting. Like Lake Geneva in the evening at 7 o'clock.
Michael, what time is it?
What difference does it make? Julie, you can't go. Look, it hasn't let up a bit. Why, you may be here for months. You think I'm crazy, don't you?
I know you are.
You're lovely.
You use that word an awful lot.
You think that means I'm delicate? Well, I'm not. I've been in jail.
What?
Mm-hmm. In Paris. Somebody gave a party. Parties were always my downfall anyhow. That's why I like them so much.
Parties will be my downfall, too, if they ever find out about this one.
I'm going back to Paris soon. Have you ever been there?
No. But it's my idea of heaven. I wish I were in Paris this minute.
Mind if I was alone?
I don't know.
Tell me about you. In love with someone?
Yes, engaged.
What's the lucky gent's name?
Ives Towner. He's an instructor at the college.
Never heard of him. Do you know about love?
What do you mean?
That love is a lovely phony unless you know what it's all about. How do you know you're in love? How do you know anything?
Maybe I don't.
Listen, Julie. This is one night in 20,000 nights. Don't you feel that? Talk to me. Tell me things you've never told anyone else. Not even yourself. Go on, Julie. Tell me what you dream about, and I'll tell you what you've missed. No. No, you don't have to. I know.
You don't know a thing about me.
You silly kid. You're like all the rest. You like to talk of adventure and all the good, brave things of life. But you're scared to death of them.
I'm not afraid.
You take a cocktail now and then. You kiss your professor goodnight. You read the new books. But down in your heart, you're still a dusty Victorian. Afraid of today, of 1928. Afraid to be alive.
I am alive.
Listen, Julie. Shut your eyes.
Why?
Because I'm going to kiss you.
No.
Shut your eyes. You won't be so afraid.
I don't want to shut my eyes.
William, come in.
Good morning. Good morning, Carol. Where's Ives?
Who is it, Carol?
Come here, Ives. Well, she's safe. I just heard from her. Oh, good morning, Mrs. Towner.
What is it? Ives hasn't slept a wink.
Oh, come in.
Oh, come in. You'll have some lunch with us?
No, thank you. No, thank you, Mrs.
And William, where is she?
Yeah. I just got a telegram. Ives. Julie is married.
William?
What? She married a man named Michael Shaw. He's a fake. But I guess she doesn't know that. They're on their way to New York. She told me to tell you that she's writing you. No, that's all I know, Ives.
Thank you, Aunt William.
And now, if your mother and Carol will excuse me, I'm going home.
Married? Married? Oh, Ivesy, you fool. Don't look like that. It's not the end of the world, you know. Ives, dear, you have everything to look forward to. Your father left you a wonderful heritage, and you can be everything he was, the greatest naturalist in America. You have all his work on the protozoa to finish, and possibly a professorship. Just think what is before you.
Just think of it.
Besides, Julie was never the sort to settle down to your kind of life. You need someone who's patient and interested in science. Oh, Mother, that's got nothing to do with it. The only trouble with Ives is that he's stubborn.
Stubborn?
Yes, stubborn. Well, you just won't be young. Why, you haven't the faintest glimmer what love is. You think it's sacred and sweet and all that rot. But you're the only person left who does.
I'm going out.
Ives, your coat, your galoshes, Ives.
Don't worry, Mother. I'll be back. I always come back, don't I? Maybe that's what's wrong with me.
Ives, you catch your
We were going to work this afternoon on those specimen drawings, weren't we? We can't miss that, can we? Julie's married. Julie's gone. But we can't forget our work, Mother. Oh, no. Julie's gone, but the protozoa goes on forever.
Joan Bennett and Henry Fonda will return in a moment for Act Two of I Met My Love Again. We want to take advantage of this short intermission to explain to you in a brief playlet the offer of a compact which we promised the ladies at the beginning of tonight's performance.
Well, I hate to say goodnight, Helen. It's been a grand party, and thanks so much for having us.
Oh, I'm so glad you could come. It's been grand having you all here.
Well, we'll have to hurry. I'm afraid our men folks are getting impatient waiting. Oh, dear. I can't find my compact. I must have left it at home. Can one of you girls lend me yours?
Well, here's mine. We use the same shade of powder, don't we?
Thanks. Oh, Helen, what a beautiful vanity.
It is nice, isn't it? I love it because of the lovely golden-colored bands across that gleaming black enamel.
Let me see. It must have cost a fortune. And black and gold are colors that will go with anything. And it's such a lovely shape and so dainty. Horseshoe pattern for luck, isn't it?
Yes. And see, it's a double compact with room for loose powder. And it comes with a neutral rouge ready to use, and you can get refills for the rouge at any time so easily. The mirror's the full size of the compact, too. I bet you girls can't guess what I paid for it.
$1? $1.50? Oh, I'd say $2.
I paid exactly 25 cents.
Oh, I don't believe it.
You hush, I'll tell you how you can all get one. You can simply wrap up 25 cents in coin in 3 Lux toilet soap wrappers and enclose your name and address. Send it to Lux Toilet Soap, box number 1, New York City, and you promptly get back one of these compacts.
Oh, gosh, Helen, thanks a lot. I'm going to go right down to the store tomorrow morning and get 3 cakes of Lux toilet soap and mail the wrappers in with my quarter so as not to get left out of this.
Grace is a smart girl, and you will realize just how smart she is when you go to your store tomorrow. For if your store is like most of the stores throughout the country, there'll be special prices on Lux toilet soap. So you'll kill two birds with one stone. You'll save money on the finest soap a woman ever used, and at the same time be able to get this beautiful and serviceable compact made by Van Style at the amazingly low figure of 25 cents. Compacts like it are on sale in lots of stores for $1. Remember, simply send 3 Lux toilet soap wrappers with 25 cents in coin folded up in the wrappers. Don't send stamps. And enclose a slip of paper with your name and address printed clearly on it. Then mail to Lux Toilet Soap, Box Number 1, New York City. This offer is good only in the United States. And now, Mr. DeMille.
Joan Bennett, Henry Fonda, and May Robeson continue in I Met My Love Again. 2 years have passed since Julie Weir married Michael Shaw and went with him to Paris. But in 2 years, few things change in Lynborough, Vermont. Although Ives is now Assistant Professor Towner, Assistant Professor of Advanced Biology. In Paris, things have gone none too well for Michael and Julie. Somehow, the gay wastrel Michael has never quite come round to finishing the great American novel. Something's always interfering. Then one day, something interfered for good and all. 3 days later, the news reaches Lynborough.
My husband said he saw it in the New York paper. Michael Shaw. He was shot, killed.
I suppose that means Julie will be coming back to Lynborough with her baby.
Yes, killed in some brawl. Left her in debt, too, I hear.
Just what she deserves for jilting Ives Towner. Julie wouldn't dare show her face here again.
What's she going to do now? She and that child of hers.
And poor Aunt William. After all she did for that Julie Weir. Aunt William is sick. Wouldn't be surprised if this killed
her. Oh, come in. Oh. Hello, Ives.
Hello, Aunt William. How are you feeling?
Oh, I'm feeling fine. I wouldn't be in bed but for that old fool, Dr. Monroe. Sit down. Sit down, Ives.
Aunt William, what's she going to do?
I don't know, Ives.
Did you send the cable?
No, it's too slow. I telephoned. She won't come back. The only thing that's coming back is the money I sent her. She said she'd found a job designing dresses.
I see. And the little girl?
Joan? Oh, yes, she's getting a nurse to look after her. Oh, Ives, why must she be so stubborn? I guess she's got too much of me in her.
That's why I know she'll come back someday.
Well, I told you she's coming back.
After all these years.
I heard it from Agatha. Coming back with her child.
She must be almost 10.
Thought she was designing dresses. Well, I guess that fell through right enough.
Mommy, is that Lynborough way over there?
No, darling, that's only fog. We won't see Lynborough for nearly a whole week yet.
Mommy, did Daddy come from Lynborough?
No, darling.
But Dad was the most wonderful man in the world, wasn't he?
Yes, darling.
Dad was the bravest man in the world, wasn't he?
Yes, darling.
Mommy, will Aunt William like me?
Oh, I'm sure she will. She's the finest lady in the whole world.
No, Mommy, you are. Mommy, what's it like in Lynborough, Vermont?
It's very quiet and peaceful. Not at all like Paris, darling. There are trees and green grass and cows and little clean white houses. And there's a college in Lynborough where people study. They teach all kinds of things there. They teach history and literature and languages and biology.
Mommy, what's biology?
Biology, darling? Biology is a science. It's the science.
Biology is the science of life or living organisms, a branch of which is polymorphism. Is there anyone in this class who remembers that word? No? Well, polymorphism is a term designating the existence of several forms of individuals in a species.
Excuse me, Professor Towner.
Yes, Miss Lane.
How do you spell polymorph?
If you look in your notebook in just 5 seconds, your neighbor, Mr. Budge Williams, will have written it down for you. Won't you, Mr. Williams? We all know Mr. Williams, that superb quarterback. Quiet. The Society of the Ants is divided into several classes. There's the female queen.
Look, Dottie. He's looking
the
right
queen
at Brenda Lane.
demands at all times to be the focus of the entire community. Then there's the functional male, whose purpose is to impress the queen with a glorified impression of himself.
Now he's looking at Budge.
What is the purpose of this society? What is the sense in it?
Professor Towner.
Miss Brenda Lane thinks she knows. Put your hand down, Miss Lane. You don't know any more than I do. We can only guess. Stab in the dark.
Excuse me, Professor Towner.
Yes, Miss Taylor?
Telephone. Evidently important.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll be right back. And the class is not dismissed. I've asked you not to telephone me while I have a class.
Ives, now don't be cross. It's important. I knew you'd want to be warned right away. I just heard.
Heard what?
She's coming back. Today. Julie Weir is coming back. Now, Ives, I'm sorry, but I thought you'd rather hear it from me, and, well, I was afraid you might do something silly like going to the station and setting everybody talking again.
Have I ever done anything silly in my life? Goodbye, Mother. Now, where were we?
You were stabbing in the dark, Professor Towner.
Yes. Stabbing in the dark. Class is dismissed for the day.
Professor Towner.
Well?
I thought if you're going home, I could drive you.
Thanks. I have my car. Besides, I'm driving over toward the station.
Oh. Professor Towner, I know how annoyed you must be with this class, including myself. But you shouldn't have to be in a position where you could be annoyed.
What in the world are you talking about, young woman?
Well, you know my father. He's ridiculously rich, but he's a nice man anyway.
Is he?
Well, the point is, you mustn't think me impudent, but, well, you see, he knows what a splendid reputation you have as a scientist.
Miss Lane, there's a train coming in, and I...
Yes, but I think he'd like to make it easier for you to do your scientific work without wasting your time on a lot of kids.
Why should he do that?
Because I'd like it.
You would? Why?
Oh, it's a long story, Professor Towner.
It can't be that long.
Did you ever read Eloise and Our Blood? I mean, you mustn't think I'm crazy, but it's true. It's very much the same story.
That's foolish.
It's not foolish. I admire you terribly, and, well, forgive me, but it's hard to be clear and simple about a thing like that.
Thing like what? If you're still talking about your father and me, please accept my thanks for your offer, but I don't need it. Furthermore, I'm not Abelard, and you're not Eloise. Miss Lane, I'm a very bad audience for your play acting. Miss Lane.
You deserve that. I hope I didn't keep you from your train.
No. And thank you, Miss Lane. I've changed my mind. I'm not going that way after all.
So many years. Aunt William. Oh, darling, it's so good to see you.
Julie. Darling, it was such fun hearing your steps on those old stairs, Julie. Saucy as ever, too.
You're dead wrong, Aunt William. There wasn't anything saucy about my steps. You in bed. Agatha told me you haven't been well for years. I did this to you.
Oh, no. Nonsense, Julie. Oh, darling. Oh, I'm so glad you're back. For good, I hope.
No, only for a month. I think I've got a job in New York designing.
Let me see about that. And have you got 1928 out of your blood, huh?
I think so. I've had 10 years of it, but I still make hideous mistakes. I guess anyone who starts off in life marrying a man she doesn't love never gets straight again.
Julie, did you ever love Ives?
Yes. I loved him so much I was too happy. Darling, do you know what I mean? Sometimes something makes you so happy you don't realize what it is. And you think it's everything else in the world except the thing it really is. And you never know until you've lost it.
Julie, he's old already. Beaten. All the things he could have been are gone. He's lost. Unless you find him again.
No, I couldn't again, Aunt William. I'm not young either. I've thrown my youth in a Paris ash can. I can't bring it back. I don't want it to come back. It's just gone. Oh, don't cry, darling. It's not so horrible. We all have to grow up sometime. Excuse me. Joan, dear. Joni.
Yes, Mommy?
Come upstairs, Joan. Aunt William would like to see you. She's knock-kneed and spindly, Aunt William, and has too many teeth in her mouth, but I like her.
Hello, Aunt William.
Knock-kneed, yes, and spindly, yes, but, I think I like her, too.
Do you like my eyes?
Of course I do.
They're Daddy's eyes, Mommy says. You've got lots of wrinkles, haven't you, Aunt William?
Joan, what a way to talk.
Never mind, Julie. The tradition of dealing out the honest truth has to be carried on by someone in this family. Isn't that so, Joan?
Yes, Aunt William. Aunt William?
Yes, Joan.
Aunt William, why have you got a mustache?
God bless my
Oh, Mother, isn't Hubert the silliest thing?
Well, what else could I tell the guy? Boy, he shut up like a clam. Was I right, Ives, or was I right?
Ives, Hubert speaking to you.
Yeah, me, your own brother-in-law, remember?
Oh, yeah, sure. You were right, Hubert.
Ives, why don't you break down and go to the prom Friday night?
No, thanks.
Well, why not?
Now, Carol, keep quiet. What was your lecture about today, son?
Polymorphism.
Polywhoism? Say, did you knock him in the aisles, kid?
I knocked him cold.
Oh, by the way, Ives, I see in the paper that a friend of ours has returned from Paris.
I don't even remember what Julie Weir looks like.
Ives, where are you going?
Just down to the creek, Mother. If I can find that old net of mine, I'll see if I can pick up some specimens. Excuse me.
Ives, be careful.
Yes, Mother, I'll be careful.
I knew it. He's still in love with
This isn't a river, darling. It's just a nice little creek. When I was a little girl like you, I used to play here.
And this path goes right by it, just like a sidewalk.
Yes, darling. Would you like to wade in it?
Oh, Mommy, yes. Did you used to wade in it?
Many, many times.
Look, Mommy, there's a man. He has a net like they catch butterflies with.
That's a fishing net, darling. If you're very quiet, maybe you'll let us watch him.
I'll be quiet, Mommy. He's awful skinny, isn't it?
Joan, you mustn't...
What's the matter, Mommy? Who is that man? Do you know him?
Yes, Joan. Give me a hand. Hello, Ives.
Julie. It's fine to see you. I've been catching whitefish for study.
Oh, Aunt William's been telling me what good things you've been doing with your work. How's your mother, Ives, and Carol? She's married, I hear.
Yes, they're fine, Julie. Thanks.
Ives, this is Joan.
How do you do, Miss Shaw?
How do you do?
Well, goodbye, Julie.
Ives.
Yes?
This isn't nice of us.
I know, Julie, but what do you want us to do?
Nothing. Just be a little civilized? Would that be asking too much?
I don't know, Julie.
Oh, come now, Ives. After all, we must have liked something about each other once. There must be plenty of things for us to talk and laugh about.
Yes, plenty of things.
Ives, you look like a statue. What are you staring at?
Oh, all the things a statue stares at. Windy, cold streets. Strangers walking by. Julie, what's the use of our talking? It's no good. Goodbye, Julie.
Goodbye, Ives.
Mommy, I don't like him. Who is he, Mommy?
Oh, just someone I used to know.
Joan Bennett, Henry Fonda, and May Robeson will be back with us in a few moments for the third act of our play, I Met My Love Again. In the meantime, Mr. DeMille has something interesting for you. But first, may I remind the ladies in our audience not to miss the opportunity of obtaining one of the beautiful compacts mentioned earlier on this program. We pause now for station identification. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Before beginning the third act of I Met My Love Again, starring Joan Bennett and Henry Fonda with May Robeson, we bring you another personality from backstage Hollywood as we place this brief intermission in the capable hands of Jimmy Starr. Jimmy's ability to streamline the English language and his keen sense of news rank him among the most widely read of Hollywood observers. His column of screen gossip in the Los Angeles Herald-Express appears in newspapers throughout the country. And now, Mr. Starr, come on and twinkle.
Okay. I'm going to turn the wheels and reels of Hollywood into reverse and go through an imaginary photograph album of yesterday in Hollywood. Who were the stars on this 30th day of May 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago? What were they doing?
Those are your questions, Jimmy. You answer them.
5 years ago, May 30th, Clara Bow promised to stage a movie comeback, but never got around to it. Katharine Hepburn was doing a garbo by hiding out from newspaper reporters. Ginger Rogers had a small part in Gold Diggers of 1933. Marie Dressler and Wally Beery were filming Tugboat Annie. 10 years ago, May 30th, Eddie Lowe had just made a hit in Dressed to Kill, the first of the gangster movies. Thomas Meehan was starring in The Racket. And the pet bear of Dolores Del Rio, which she used to take for a stroll down Hollywood Boulevard, got a jail sentence for taking a nip at her butler's leg. 15 years ago, May 30th, Jack Pickford and his bride, Marilyn Miller, were visiting his sister Mary. Charlie Chaplin was directing Edna Purviance and The Woman from Paris. Lon Chaney had just finished The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Strongheart, the first dog star, was filming The Phantom Pack. And Mabel Norman was starring in The Extra Girl for Max Sennett.
But marriages, mergers, and time have changed the Hollywood picture, Jimmy.
Yes, the former Billy Dove lives in town, goes shopping on the boulevard in slacks, and gets a big thrill when the fans recognize her. Viola Dana is married to the famous long drive golfer, Jimmy Thompson. And Vilma Banky is Mrs. Rod LaRock. Colleen Moore is also married, while her one-time leading man, Charles Ray, devotes his time to writing novels and short stories. And you know, Mr. DeMille, there's one Hollywood star to whom the years bring only greater fame, and that's your product, Lux Toilet Soap. Lux Soap has been making this town happier and prettier for many years. And you say 9 out of 10 stars use it. Well, I'm still trying to find the one who doesn't. Hardly a day goes by when I don't encounter Lux Soap, either at the studios, the dressing rooms, or in the stars' homes. Judging from what they say about it, Lux is going to enjoy its great popularity just as long as stars want fine complexions. And that's going to be always.
Thank you for that observation, Jimmy. Now, what's the latest gossip along Hollywood Boulevard?
Well, here we go. 2 items, each with 4 feet on the ground. Bow wow scoop. Joan Crawford is now building a 3-room doghouse. Jumbo, her 230-pound Great Dane pooch, is to have this extra-large residence because the servants were going to turn in their notices. It seems that Jumbo used to sleep on the back porch, but his snoring kept the servants awake. Jumbo now is the only dog in Hollywood with a soundproof house. Bow wow scoop number 2. Herbert Marshall has just escaped losing the sight of his right eye. Romping with a friend's dog on his front lawn, the chow snapped at him, removing a portion of the star's right cheek. If upon examination the dog shows signs of rabies, Marshall will immediately take the famed Pasteur treatment. And speaking of treatment, I think it's about time I took a powder. Thank you, Mr. DeMille.
Thanks for the stardust, Jimmy. Our curtain rises on the 3rd act of I Met My Love Again, starring Joan Bennett and Henry Fonda with May Robeson. A week has passed since Julie returned to Lynnborough. And although she and Ives continue to be the town's favorite topic of discussion, they haven't seen each other since their meeting at the creek. It's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. At the edge of the college campus, Brenda Lane is waiting for Ives beside his car.
Well, Miss Lane.
I thought perhaps you wouldn't mind driving me home. My car's broken down. Honestly.
You expect me to believe that?
Please, Professor Towner. What have I done to make you so rude to me?
I'm sorry. Get in.
I'm sorry about what I did, slapping your face the other day. But however it sounds to you, I mean it. I love you.
I think you're a nice girl, Miss Lane, but you dramatize. You build up a lot of colorful lies in your own mind and then try to sell them to me as art. They're too young, too silly, too incredible. Now, suppose I turn around and take you right back to your car. I'm sure you'll suddenly find it in perfect running condition.
Ives, please listen to me, just this once.
Okay.
It happened a year ago. I saw you coming across the campus, and I thought you were a student then. You looked so young. I was in the library.
I know, in the library reading about Eloise and Abelard. About the young love of a girl for a sourpuss professor, weren't you?
Yes, I was. But you see, when I saw you walking then, wonderful thing came to me. I knew that something new and rich was happening to me. Something almost holy.
Wait a minute. Something what?
You mustn't laugh at me. Something almost holy.
Holy. That's word for word out of my mouth 10 years ago. I'm not insulting you now, Brenda. I'm insulting myself. One laugh for every one of those last 10 years. Look, Brenda, you mustn't ever make yourself unhappy over me. 10 years from now, you laugh too when you remember riding in my car. If I'd only managed to laugh 10 years ago, come on, snap out of it. Forget your sad young love and be happy now, 'cause that's what I'm going to do.
All right, but...
But what?
Kiss me, Ives.
Sure, why not?
Someday you'll love me, Ives.
No, I'll never be in love with you. I'm not in love with anyone and never will be. You're very pretty, aren't you? And you don't mind that I'll never love you, do you?
I don't know. I think I do mind, but kiss me again, Ives. And I won't say anything more about it. Now.
If you'd stop listening to those cheap small-town gossipers, Julie Weir, and listen to me for a moment.
It's not just gossip, Aunt William. What they're saying about me is true. I guess when I came back here, maybe in the back of my mind was a silly hope that I could be young again, that even Ives and I might like each other again. Aunt William, I'm going back to New York tomorrow.
Oh, Julie, you're an impulsive fool.
No, Aunt William. I'm just being a wise, sane, unexciting matron. I'm just being the person I suddenly realize I am.
Mommy, am I going to New York with you?
Joni, where did you come from?
Oh, Mommy, it's so nice here.
Oh, Julie, be reasonable.
Honest, Mommy, we can have a lot of fun here without ever seeing that nasty tall man.
We're going to New York, darling, and that's all we're going to say about it.
Hello? Agatha? Who's that on the telephone?
It's not for you. It's for Miss Julie. It's Ives Towner.
Ives? Hello, Ives. I'm fine, thank you. I'm sorry, too, Ives. I wasn't very nice about it. The prom? You're going to the prom? Oh, yes, Ives. Oh, I'd love it. Yes, at 9 Friday. Yes, good night, Ives. And thank you. Aunt William.
Let me see. I think there's a train leaving for New York.
Oh, what's the last thing on earth you'd expect me to be doing of a Friday night? I'm going to a dance with Ives Towner. Glory, glory, it's 1928 again.
Well, Julie, here we are.
Yes, Ives. Sort of remarkable.
It's going to rain tonight.
Hadn't we better get into the dance? It's so funny. Won't you let me in on it?
Of course. You asked me the other day to be civilized, didn't you? Well, Julie, I just learned to be, and I'm sort of proud of it.
Ives, did you ask me out to show me you could be civilized?
I've just found my sense of humor. You don't mind?
No, I don't mind. Come on, let's dance.
Swell. Remember the time I made a fool of myself at school when old Marshall found that poem I wrote you? Gosh, I can still hear him reading it to the class. My only love, your music down the midnight street.
Yes.
Oh, Julie, I was such a dope. No wonder you left me. No wonder you fell in love with Michael Shaw.
Ives. Oh, I don't want to dance. Let's get out of here. I mean, on the porch.
Sure. Besides, there's the punch bowl over there by the door. Want some?
No, thanks.
A porch, a spring night, and us. Let it rain. Who cares? Michael Shaw. It's all right, Julie. I'm not jealous. I could have killed him once. But now I'd shake his hand. I know why you loved him, because he was gay and slippery and wild. Well, I'm that too now, Julie. Laugh with me.
Please, Ives, there's someone.
Hello, Ives.
Oh, hello.
I came here looking for you.
Very considerate, Brenda. Allow me. Mrs. Shaw, one of my cleverest students, Miss Lane.
Mrs. Shaw. I came here looking for you, too, Mrs. Shaw. I thought you might like a glass of punch.
Brenda, you crazy little fool. Julie! Where are you going, Julie? Julie, stop running, Julie!
Well, what are you standing here for? Why don't you run after her?
Thank you, Brenda. I will. I've run after her for 10 years. It's no time to stop. Julie!
Oh, let me alone, Ives, please.
Is that rain on your face or tears? Oh, Julie, I'm sorry, Julie.
Oh, it's your laugh, Ives. I can't stand your laugh.
It's such an easy way out, Julie.
Oh, I know I'm different from what you thought I'd be, but I'm still Julie Weir.
And I guess I'm still Ives Towner, but what good is that going to do us?
None. I still love you.
Julie, darling. Don't cry, darling. We're starting now, this instant, you and I.
We're well enough to do anything. Come on, let's run for it.
Julie,
What did you say?
I said I love you!
Aunt William, it's us. We're engaged. We're going to be married.
We're engaged to be married tonight.
Miss Julie, you're dripping water all over Aunt William's counterpane.
Be quiet. It's lovely water. Well, now I can get out of bed.
William, don't you dare.
You get out of my way.
We're driving to Upton now as soon as I change.
Mommy, I woke up.
Oh, Joan, darling, we're not going to New York.
Mommy, don't.
Don't what, darling?
Man, that dreadful old man here.
Joan, why, you hardly know Mr. Towner. What have you got against him, darling, except that he's tall?
I see what she means. Joan, dear, from now on, every time you see me, I'll squat like this.
Don't you dare talk nice to me. I hate you.
Joan, are you aware what a nasty little terror you're being?
You get that little stubborn morsel of humanity over here to me. I want to talk to her.
Joni, what's the matter with you?
My dad was a brave, lovely man, not a tall, skinny thing like that. My father could look at a step out of you.
I'll take care of her. Come along, Joni, dear.
I still love my dad. I hate you.
Probably the neighbors complaining. I'll go down.
Stay here, Agatha. I'll answer it. All right, I'm coming. Well, hello, Mother. Hello, Carol. Hubert, what's the matter?
I've heard all about it, every detail. How dare you insult that nice, scholarly girl, Brenda Lane?
Who said I insulted her?
She did. She came right to me. I never saw anyone so stricken in my life. And then to come back to her, after all these years, like a weak little puppy. Oh, she's here, too.
This happens to be her house, Mother. Come here, Julie.
Good evening.
Carol, maybe you can tell me why Mother's here.
Well, it's you, Julie Weir. You nearly ruined his life once. You'll not do it again.
And you, Hubert? What do you feel about it?
Well, I sort of feel that it's none of my affair.
That's white of you, Hubert. Mighty white.
But, I can't help but feeling that if it means so much to Mother Towner, and, you'd be surprised how it even affects my tile business.
Of course. Julie and I are going to be married tonight. Ready, darling?
Ready to be married or ready to be hanged? I couldn't tell by your tone.
I'm sorry, darling, but let's go. I thought we were all here. I guess I was wrong. Well, who's next?
Professor Towner?
Come in, Budge. You know everyone.
I've something important to tell you. Maybe we should be alone.
Oh, no, Budge. Everybody must know my business. Tell it here.
It's about Brenda. I took her home after she saw your mother. Professor Towner, that poor girl tried to hang herself on account of you.
Budge. She's all right, though.
Yes, for the moment. I drove her here. She's waiting outside.
She'll be all right for a moment more, won't she?
Yes, I think so.
I don't believe it. I don't believe she tried to kill herself. She knows I never loved her. She's known it all along.
I didn't love Michael Shaw either. But look what he did to my life. And yours. I'd like to see you alone.
Maybe we'd better go, Mother.
Oh, there's no need of that. We can go in the other room.
Julie.
The thunder and lightning's over now. I suppose the sky's like it is most of the time. Oh, don't you see, Ives? It was only the excitement of lightning that could make us think we could do it. We can't go back, Ives. Go away. Go away quickly.
I won't go. I won't give you up. You were willing to marry me until this happened. We can't quit now, Julie.
No, Ives. It would be the same sort of selfish thing I've done all my life. At least we've had tonight. There aren't many people in this world who could have had tonight, my darling.
Julie, be selfish once with me.
But, Ives, don't you see? Goodbye, Ives.
Say, where you going, Julie?
Stop her. Don't let her. She gets in my car.
Brenda's in there.
What do you mean? Get out of this car. What are you trying to do?
Shut up.
Bart!
Julie, come back.
You can't get away with this. See, Ives is coming after me.
I'm glad you have such a nice, fast car, Brenda. Now, for the first time tonight, I'm the one who's going to do the talking. Do you love Ives Towner?
Of course I love him. I love him with all my heart and soul.
He and I were going to be married tonight. It was very important to us. Do you think you had the right to prevent it?
I don't know anything about rights. I only know I can't live without him.
Are you sure?
I never was sure of anything. I can't live without him.
Well, neither can I.
What are you going to do? What did you mean?
What do you think I mean, Brenda? You're not afraid to die. You tried it once tonight. Maybe you'll have better luck with my company.
No, slow up. Please, slow up. I don't want to die. Well, don't kill us. Well, don't kill me.
At the moment, we're doing nearly 90 miles an hour. See, Brenda? Nearly 90 miles on a nice, wet road.
Slow up. I didn't try to kill myself. I only wanted to make Ives think I did it to get him back. Please, Mr. Shaw. I want to live.
You want to live without him?
Yes.
You were lying before?
Yes. That can! Look out!
Take off my arm. I'm sorry, Brenda. But I had to do it. For all of us. Stop crying.
Yes, Mrs. Shaw.
Come on, climb out. If we wait by the road, I think ours will be along very shortly.
5 o'clock, Aunt William.
Is it?
In the morning. Ain't you going to bed at all?
Oh, don't worry about me, Agatha.
Where's Miss Julie? She ain't in her room.
Oh, and don't worry about her either. Oh, go to bed, Agatha.
That's where I was till Joan woke me. Seems she's changed her mind about liking Ives Towner.
Yes, we had a long talk, Joan and I.
Guess you could talk a body into most anything.
I'm always willing to try. Oh, go to bed, Agatha.
Can I get you a cup of tea or something?
No. I think I'll sit here and watch the sun come up.
Watch the sun come up? Well, if that ain't silly.
Home, darling. Home at last.
Mr. and Mrs. Ives Towner.
Let's go upstairs and tell Aunt William.
She's asleep.
You're crazy. Not Aunt William. She never sleeps.
Betcha.
Shh,
quiet.
Oh, Julie, we don't need thunder and lightning now.
No, darling. Don't put on the light. You'll wake her.
If she's asleep.
I told you.
I can't believe it. After waiting all this time.
10 years.
Good night, Aunt William. God bless you.
And please, God, let me grow old like her.
Come on, darling.
Well, the sun's going to look mighty good coming up this morning.
So ends our play, I Met My Love Again. Tonight's stars, who meet us now for a curtain call, are busy these days at Paramount Studio. But if you could catch them between scenes, you'd find Miss Bennett designing furniture for her new home, while Henry Fonda is looking for a farm on which to raise turkeys, continuing Grandpa Fonda's activities of some 300 years back.
What's wrong with raising turkeys, sir?
Well, nothing, Henry. Nothing. A turkey's a very noble bird. Back in 1782, it came pretty close to becoming the national emblem, with men like Benjamin Franklin rooting for the turkey over the American eagle.
And what happened?
Well, they compromised by putting the eagle on the coat of arms and the turkey on the Thanksgiving table.
Now that you've pointed the conversation towards Henry's ancestors, what can you say about his contemporary, good old Anthony DeMille?
Well, if you look on the New York police blotter for 1689, Joan, you'll encounter a little item which relates that Anthony DeMille was arrested for striking the sheriff.
Nice people. Even 300 years ago, DeMille was making a spectacle.
Was he hanged?
No.
Oh.
No, in 1691, 2 years later, he was elected sheriff.
What did he leave you, Mr. DeMille? His badge?
No, but I have his original will. It seems Anthony had 2 sons, To his favorite, he left 2 barrels of mackerel.
What did the favorite son do for a living? Train seals?
What did the black sheep of the family get? A can of sardines?
No, Grandpa didn't like the other boy, so he gave him what he considered the least of his possessions. The will reads, that parcel of ground lying between Beaver Street and the river. Today, that takes in about half of lower New York City.
All of which undoubtedly gave rise to the ejaculation so current in the 17th century. Holy mackerel. What about your Grandpa, Joan?
Do you mean old Beelzebub Bennett, the whirling dervish of Edinburgh?
I don't know, do I?
Probably, because he left an old piece of parchment on which he wrote in Sanskrit, if you want to get anywhere in Hollywood, keep your complexion on the upbeat by using Lux toilet soap.
Ain't it the truth?
No, it isn't the truth. Not about old Beelzebub Bennett. But it's very true that Lux soap is about the best care a girl can give her complexion. I know because I use it constantly, and I'm really grateful to the sponsors of this program for giving us such a splendid product. Thank you, Mr. DeMille, and good night to you all.
Good night, C.B.
Good night, Joan. Good night, Henry.
In a moment, Mr. DeMille will return to tell you of the news about next week's performance. But first, may I remind you, ladies in the audience, that every one of you may have one of these truly beautiful double compacts. The top is designed in a stunning horseshoe pattern, finished in gleaming black enamel with bands in gold effect. The bottom is richly tooled in a harmonizing design and contains a full compact-size clear vision mirror with space for loose powder and with neutral shade rouge ready for use. Why, this very modern compact will remind you of a piece of fine old antique jewelry. It is so very lovely. Send only your 3 Lux toilet soap wrappers with 25 cents in coin folded into them and a slip of paper with your name and address printed on it to Lux Toilet Soap, Box Number 1, New York City, and you will receive this truly beautiful compact promptly. Compacts very similar, but not our exclusive design, are sold in many shops for $1. Of course, there is no advertising whatsoever on the compact in any way. So remember, send 25 cents in coin wrapped in 3 Lux Toilet Soap wrappers, together with a slip of paper bearing your name and address printed clearly, to Lux Toilet Soap, Box Number 1, New York City. This offer is good only in the United States. And now, Mr. DeMille.
One of the highlights of Broadway's legitimate theater this season was the revival of the best-known play by one of the greatest dramatists of all time, A Doll's House by Henrik Ibsen. Produced 3 times on the screen, this memorable drama, which never grows old, comes to you next Monday night. The story of a young wife whose courage and sacrifice saved the life of her husband, a husband who places his pride above her love. As the star of A Doll's House, we bring you the talented and glamorous Joan Crawford. Starred with Miss Crawford is Basil Rathbone, and featured in our cast are Sam Jaffe and Nedda Harrigan. Our sponsors, the makers of Lux Toilet Soap, join me in inviting you to be with us again next Monday night when the Lux Radio Theater presents Joan Crawford and Basil Rathbone in A Doll's House with Sam Jaffe and Nedda Harrigan. This is Cecil B. DeMille saying good night to you from Hollywood.
Henry Fonda stars soon in the Paramount film Spawn of the North. May Robeson is in the new Warner Brothers film Sister Act. Louise Platt appeared through courtesy of Walter Wanger and will also be seen in Spawn of the North. Margaret Hamilton's new RKO film is Mother Carey's Chickens. Louis Silvers is from 20th Century Fox Studios, where he was in charge of music for Josette. Soft lights and sweet music heard during tonight's performance was from Face the Music. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Lost in Brazil invites you on an unforgettable journey where every moment is an adventure waiting to be discovered. Join us as we uncover the soul of Brazil, one incredible experience at a time. Click on the link in the description and embark on the ultimate Brazilian odyssey.
Ladies and gentlemen, the secret word tonight is name. N-A-M-E.
Really?
You bet your life. It's Groucho Marx in You Bet Your Life, the comedy quiz series produced and transcribed from Hollywood and brought to you by the more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers. The dealers who now have on display the all-new 1954 Plymouth, your best buy in the low-priced field, and who, on November 5th, will have on display the astonishing and beautiful new DeSoto for 1954. And now, here he is, the one, the only...
Are you sure you want him? Oh, that's me. Well, here I am again with 1,500 smackolas for one of our couples.
Well, Groucho, I saw an interesting article in the newspaper about a married couple, and I told them to come and see us next time they were in Hollywood, and maybe they'd get on the show. And they did, and here they are. Mr. and Mrs. John Peter Fedorovich, would you come in, please, and meet Groucho Marx?
Well, howdy do. Welcome, folks, for the DeSoto Plymouth dealers. Say the secret word, and you'll take home an extra 100 smackolas. The secret word is a very common word, and it's something you always have with you, I presume. Mr. and Mrs. John Peter Fedorovich, huh?
That's right.
Where are you from, Mr. Fedorovich?
I was born in Rotten, Poland. I've been here over 40 years.
You were born in Rotten, Poland?
Or Rotten, Poland.
What kind of a place is Rotten, Poland?
I don't know. A long time since I've been there.
How old were you when you fled from there?
60.
You were 60 when you left
now.
there? You are 60? Gee, you don't look it. What sort of work do you do?
I'm a roofer.
Well, top of the morning to you. What does a roofer do?
Fixes the roofs.
Well, I didn't think you raised caterpillars, but what do you do specifically, then?
Well, it depends on the type of roof.
Uh-huh. Well, let's see. You're Mrs. Fedorovich, huh?
That's right.
Fedorovich, is that the word? How do you pronounce it?
Fedorovich.
Fedorovich,
That's
huh?
right.
Well, that's a whole lot better, huh? What is your... Helen?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, do you mind if I call you Helen?
That's all right.
What part of Poland are you from, Helen?
I'm not from Poland. I was born in the United States. I was born in Hobart, Oklahoma.
Well, Helen, you're pretty short for a tall girl. How tall are you?
Well, I'm just a little over 5 feet tall, and I weigh 155 pounds.
Oh, you're kind of 5 by 5, huh? Well, you carry it well. How much do you weigh, John?
I weigh 125.
Did she weigh more than you when you got married?
She weighed about
John?
100 pounds more when I married her.
I beg your pardon?
She weighed about 100 pounds more when I married her.
She weighed 100 pounds more than she does now when you married her?
Than I did.
Than you did. And you weigh 125 and she weighed 225? Helen, after you were married, did you try to lose a little excess baggage?
Yes, I did, and John thought it'd be a good idea if we take a walk.
Did he suggest it, that you lose some weight?
He suggested that we walk.
Is that true, John?
That's right.
Well, how did you do this? Did you lie down on the floor and let him walk all over you?
No. We took a walk to Arizona.
You took a walk to Arizona? How far did you walk on this Arizona stroll?
About 500 miles.
Well, Helen, did this walking trip to Arizona have any effect on you?
I lost 50 pounds.
Did this make you happy, John?
No, but she gained 60 later on.
Well, John, did you try any other reducing measures, like walking to Shreveport?
No, we didn't walk to Shreveport, but we walked to Spokane, Washington.
You walked to Spokane?
That's right.
Well, how far is that as the crow flies?
We didn't fly, we walked about 5 miles.
He keeps topping me. I guess that's because he was a roofer. How did you make out on the Spokane trip, Helen? Did you lose any blubber, any weight?
I lost about 85 pounds.
Okay, I'm ready for the next question. John, how much did she gain?
Well, she gained 115 pounds.
This could be
I
serious.
was 265.
Where'd you go this time, Alaska?
No, we went down to Morongo, Imperial Valley, Mexico, up in San Diego. We get to Los Angeles. She didn't lose enough. We went to take a walk down to Fresno or to the coast.
We walked all together about 2,000 miles in 4 months.
And you say, how much do you weigh now?
155.
Oh, well, are you satisfied with her?
Oh, yeah,
weight,
sure.
Huh?
I can lift her now. Before I couldn't budge her.
You mean you did this whole thing just so you could lift her?
That's right. And so she feel better and look like something.
Oh. Well, I think she looks pretty cute.
Now she does. You ought to see her before.
Well, the next time she puts on 100 pounds, bring her around, will you? Well, this has been a pretty heavy conversation we've had here, but you can lighten your load by winning a lot of money, and I hope you do. All you got to do is run your $20 and more than our other couples, and you get a chance at the big question. These are all French words and expressions that we have adopted for cooking and serving foods. Here's your first question. How much of the 20 will you bet?
20?
You don't consult this with Skinny here at all, huh?
Go ahead. That's the answer.
What about it, Slats? Are you in a...
Let her go ahead and do what she wants.
All right, you're going to bet $20. What is the French word that means a small cup of coffee taken at the close of a meal?
Demitasse.
Right.
While you're on your way, you have $40.
All right, how much of the 40 are you going to bet on your second question?
All of it?
You ignore him completely, eh? What are the small cubes of toasted bread served with soup called?
Croutons.
That's right, croutons.
You now have $80.
Did you carry a menu on this trip you took to Phoenix, Seattle?
No.
Here's your third question. You have $80. How much are you going to bet?
All of it?
Slices of bone meat or fish are called what?
Filet.
Filet is right.
You now have $160.
I always thought filet was in Pennsylvania. Now, here's your last chance to beat the other couples. How much will you bet?
All of it.
All of it, huh? Whites of eggs whipped to a standing froth with sugar is called what?
Meringue.
Meringue is right.
And you wind up with $320.
Well, thanks and good luck to the DeSoto Plymouth dealer. Fenneman, everybody's talking big, bright, and beautiful these days. Let's listen in.
It's big, the 54 Plymouth, it's bright. The 54 Plymouth, big, bright, beautiful too. The 54 Plymouth is the car for you.
Yes, the new 54 Plymouth, big, bright, and beautiful, is the car for you. The car that's got everybody talking about its new beauty.
I've never seen such luxurious fabrics and appointments before in any low-priced car. So many smart new ideas in detail and color combinations. Plymouth's high-style interiors certainly live up to their name.
Power steering's available this year. Plymouth's full-time power steering does 80% of the work for you, getting in and out of tight parking places, and always lets you keep the feel of the road for good, steady handling.
And there are 3 great drives available, including Plymouth High Drive that gets you where you're going without shifting.
See this great new beauty for yourself. Visit a DeSoto Plymouth dealer for all the exciting details on the beautiful new 54 Plymouth.
Big, bright, beautiful too. The 54 Plymouth is the car for you.
All right, George, who's next?
Well, we invited some plumbers to the show tonight, Groucho. And just before we went on the air, our studio audience selected Mr. Michael Moran. His partner is Miss Regula Thorsten. So, folks, would you please come in and meet Groucho Marx?
Welcome to You Bet Your Life. Say the secret word. Say, plumbers always get applause here. Say the secret word and divide $100. It's a common word, something you always have with you. Mr. Michael Moran. That's you?
Yes, sir, that's...
You have a sister named Lemon?
No, sir. Not that I know of.
Oh, I used to know a Lemon Moran. She lived in the Automat in New York. Where are you from, Mike?
I was born in Huntington, Oregon, but raised in Los Angeles.
Raised in Los Angeles. Are you married?
Yes, sir.
How old are you?
31.
Regula Thorsten, that's you?
That's right.
That's an interesting name, Regula. Where'd you get it?
I was named after the city saint in Zurich, Switzerland.
You said name. That's the secret word. So you get 50 smackers.
Well,
and the plunger over here gets $50.
Thank you, Groucho.
Thank you, Groucho.
Now, what were you saying about you were named after a plumber named Lemon Moran at the Automat in New York?
Groucho, you got it all wrong. I was named after a city saint.
A city saint?
Yeah, that's right, in Zurich, Switzerland.
You come from Switzerland?
I surely do. I did, at least.
How long ago?
Oh, now, Groucho, you wouldn't ask me embarrassing questions.
Yes, I would. That's the way I make a living, huh? Now, how did you get the name? You were named after a city saint?
That's right.
How long ago was this?
Oh, many years ago.
How long ago?
In this century.
In this century. At the turn of the century?
A little later.
Oh. Why did you come to this country, Regular?
Oh.
Just to outwit me?
No.
You succeeded in so far.
No. You see, I trained as a nurse in the American hospital in Paris. And my superintendent of nurses thought that I would make a much better career in the States, and that's why I came.
Have you had any exciting experiences as a nurse in this country?
I certainly have.
What way, huh?
Well, one of them was taking care of you. You once were my patient.
I knew that past of mine would catch up with me someday. Well, what happened? Did I emerge alive?
You certainly did.
I did, huh?
Yes. You used to come to this doctor's office quite regularly, and after a few visits, one time, you impersonated your own brother. And you did it so convincingly that you had me completely sold. So I almost got fired. But that isn't all. 2 weeks
I
later...
hope not.
2 weeks later, you sent your brother into the doctor's office, and you had your brother impersonate you. And to make matters even more complicated, you know what the doctor's name was?
No.
Dr. Marx.
Really?
And that isn't
Rudolph
all.
Marx?
Rudolph Marx. And
yes.
that isn't all.
He's a nice guy, Rudolph.
Isn't he, though?
I want to say, after you left that doctor's office, I impersonated Rudolph Marx. I didn't say it.
But that isn't
It
all.
was on Wednesday. It was his day off, and they don't come in on Wednesday. You know, doctors don't work on Wednesday at all. Wednesday, Friday afternoon, Saturday, and Sunday. If you want to die, you got to do it Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. You know, speaking of hospitals, it reminds me of the story about Mark Connolly. He's a famous playwright. He wrote Green Pastures and many other plays. Anyway, he had gone to Cedars of Lebanon to visit a friend there who had had a tonsillectomy. And he got in the elevator there at Cedars, and the elevator operator says, "What floor?" And he said, "Men's tonsils, please." That's a true story, isn't it? Are you still at that same hospital regular?
No, I'm not. I've quit the nursing profession.
They always do that after they get me. Mike, who do you work for?
Sicking Plumbing.
Is it a big outfit?
One of the largest in town, Groucho. We have about 40 plumbers on tap.
40 plumbers on tap. Say, that's pretty good, isn't it? You know any roofing jokes?
No, sir, I don't.
Is that one of the little jokes you plumbers use in the trade?
Well, you might call it that.
Mm-hmm. And for this you charge $5.50 an hour?
Not for the jokes.
Have you ever had any unusual experiences as a plumber, like fixing a leaky faucet in less than 8 hours?
Yes, I was fixing garbage disposal one time when I had to take the garbage disposal out of the sink to repair it. And in order
Is that why they call it the Sinking Brothers?
No. And in order to remount it, I had to lay on my back under the sink and put the spud through the hole in the sink, which is just actually like a big donut. So I'm laying there tightening the screws up, looking right up through the sink, and this housewife comes walking over me and turns the water on. Right in my face. And she says, "I didn't think it'd run on you." I said, "What do you think it's going to do, run up?"
Well, at least you got a bath out of it, didn't you? You're lucky she didn't drop any garbage down there. Well, it's been very interesting talking to you two. I haven't learned anything, but it's been interesting. And the next time you come to my house, charge me $4 an hour, will you? Well, now you're gonna work in the quiz. Now let's see how you make out. We'll see how smart you really are. All you got to do is run your $20 in the more than our other couples, and you'll get a chance at the big money later.
In the race for the $1,500, the first couple won $320, and the secret word is name.
Let's see how high you can bid your $20. You selected instruments in common use as your category. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
That's right.
Most of us have seen or heard of these instruments. Now, these are not plumber's tools, you know.
No.
Now, let's see if you can identify them. You have $20. How much are you going to bet?
I think you should bet
Talk real loud now.
$19.98.
Okay.
No, we didn't hear a word you said.
All right.
1998.
1998.
Sounds like Macy's basement.
Yes, it does. Have you ever thought of quitting plumbing and going into show business?
No, sir.
Everybody's in show business now. You can get yourself a panel show in no time. What is the instrument used by doctors to determine the heartbeat?
The stethoscope.
That's right. That's a stethoscope.
You have $39.98 now.
What does that remind you of? Gimbal?
Can't think of anything. I'm concentrating right now.
What is the... How much you betting?
All's but 2 cents, so it'd be $39.86, wouldn't it?
96.
96. What is the surveying instrument called that is used to measure angles? It is mounted on a tripod. What is the surveying instrument called that is used to measure angles? It is mounted on a tripod.
Datum isn't correct.
No.
Datum is the only thing I can think of it. Datum.
One answer? Is that what you decide on?
Yes, sir.
You
I know it too, but I can't think of it.
Transit.
Transit. That's right.
That's a shame.
Just used it the other day.
You now have 2 cents.
Wow. How much of the 2 cents you going to bet?
Go for broke.
Go for broke.
Go for broke. What is the instrument used for marking exact time in music?
No, just a minute. I know it as well as...
A fork.
I know.
Squares.
It's metronome.
A metronome.
Well, they've
now
lost.
you have nothing.
Now
All
we have
gone.
nothing. All gone.
Now I'll give you one more question. You get this right and you split $25. A popular figure of early American history was Martha Washington. What was her husband's name?
George Washington.
Absolutely right, George Washington. Thanks for carrying it in. Thanks and good luck to the DeSoto Plymouth dealer.
And now, Groucho, our next contestant is N.C. Buyer, a waiter.
Mr. N.C. Buyer, a waiter, eh? What's the N.C. stand for?
It stands for New Car, Groucho.
Your name is New Car Buyer? Well, you've certainly come to the right show. Where are you a waiter?
Oh, I can wait anywhere, Groucho. I thought I'd wait right here in this studio.
It's not too personal. What are you waiting for?
For November 5th, Groucho. All of us new car buyers are waiting for November 5th because that's the day the wonderful new DeSoto goes on display for the very first time.
Yes, I know.
They say that this outstanding new DeSoto is the most wonderful car ever built, with so many new engineering features that you'll have to drive it to believe it, and with an outstanding new beauty and style that will put it years ahead of all the others.
Yes, I know.
So that's what I'm waiting for, November 5th, the day this magnificent new DeSoto for 1954 makes its very first appearance.
You see, folks, you got to be careful. You never know when we're going to bring in a commercial to remind you that November 5th is the big day. Your first chance to see the stunning DeSoto for 1954. Okay, George, who's next?
Well, Groucho, we have a young married couple for you now, Mr. and Mrs. Edward Shefflin. So, folks, would you come in, please, and meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome, welcome. Welcome, youngsters, for the DeSoto Plymouth dealer. Say the secret word, and you'll take home an extra $100. It's a common word, something you always have with you. Mr. What do you call him? Fenneman, what do you call him Mr. for? This man's a general. Are you a general?
No, Groucho. I'm a master sergeant in the Air Force.
Oh. How old are you, Sergeant?
33.
33, huh? Well, you're a fine-looking lad. Mrs. Shefflin.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't want to call you Mrs. Shefflin. That's too dignified for me.
Well, can you call me Margaret?
Well, I could try. Margaret, I notice you're holding pretty tight to your husband there. Do you feel all right?
Oh, I'm feeling fine, thank you.
Oh.
But I sometimes hold on to him this way when we're walking around because my left leg is paralyzed. I had polio in 1942.
Oh, is that so?
Mhm.
I'm sorry to hear that. Would
it's
you like
fine.
to sit down?
Oh, no, I'd really rather stand.
You would?
Yeah. I sit down watching one thing or another all day.
No. I'd rather sit down myself. I didn't know how you felt. Well, are you sure you won't be too tired, huh?
No, I'll be fine.
Does your polio seem to be getting better as time goes by?
Well, it's a gradual process,
Yeah.
but it's been getting better, and strangely enough, having a baby seems to help.
How old is your baby?
Well, we have 4 little girls, but the youngest one is 5 weeks.
You say these 4 children helped your health, eh?
Well, it seems to have, anyway.
That's odd. I've been a father 3 times, and look at me, eh? Next time, I think I'll try being a mother.
That would be fine.
Who takes care of the 4 kids, Margaret? Do you have help?
No, I take care of them in the house. Oh, I don't feel I have a real handicap, because I can play ping pong and swim and do lots of things.
Well, you certainly have a lot of courage, Margaret.
Well,
next time I get a little ache or pain, I don't think I'll complain quite so much.
Maybe the little ones are bad, too.
I had a headache the other day, and I sent for an ambulance. Let's find out some more about you two. For example, what was there about Margaret that prompted you to pop the question?
Well, I thought she was very nice looking, and she was a good conversationalist, and pleasant, courteous, and above all, she was very smart.
You mean by trapping you, she was smart?
Well, she can read a book in, say, less than an hour, and she can tell you everything that she's read.
Well, can she cook?
She can do anything.
You're pretty proud of her, aren't you, huh?
Oh, that I am.
And I certainly don't blame you, Sergeant. You think she'll win a lot of money for you here tonight?
Oh, it's just as good as money in a bank.
What makes you think she's going to walk away with the loot here tonight?
Well, she used to be a quiz kid for about 3 years.
A quiz kid? Jumping butterballs were wiped out. Is this true, Margaret? Are you really a former quiz kid?
Yeah, I was a quiz kid from...
For Kelly?
Joe Kelly. Mm-hmm.
Joe Kelly, yeah.
And he's still on.
Is that so?
I've gotten too old. See, when you're 16, they figure you're not a kid anymore.
Yeah.
So I was on from 42 to 44.
Well, Ed, doesn't it sometimes annoy you that your wife knows all the answers?
Well, Groucho, it sometimes scares me.
Well, don't worry about her knowing the answers, old boy. The time to get scared is when she starts asking the questions. Well, obviously, you're a happily married couple, and I'm sure everyone is anxious to see you slaughter me in the quiz. So let's see what you can do. You have to run your $20 no more than our other couples, and you'll get a chance at the big money.
In the race for the $1,500, Mr. and Mrs. Fedorowicz are leading with $320.
You selected what's the number. This is a test of your powers of observation. Let's see if you can correctly identify the amount or number. Here's your first question. How much will you bet?
20.
All of it? Sure.
20. All of it?
All of it.
All of it.
How many strings on a standard violin?
4.
4 is right.
You now have $40.
You have $40. Now, how much are you going to bet on this one?
Shoot two works.
I wish we'd taken that sheet, too.
On a standard telephone dial, how many holes are there?
10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 0.
Okay, you tell me.
10.
10 is correct.
Okay.
You now have $80.
She's the quiz kid, but I know she's slipping you the hard ones here. Huh? Here's your third question. How much of the 80 are you going to bet?
80.
We'll bet the 80.
How many rows of keys are there on a standard typewriter?
4.
4 is right.
You now have $160.
Here's your last chance to be the other couples. You have $160. How much are you going to risk?
All of it.
We'll try it all.
All of it.
How many cigarettes are there in a standard pack?
20.
20 is right, huh?
And you wind up with $320.
Thanks and good luck from the DeSoto Plymouth dealers.
Thank you.
And that means that the first couple, Mr. and Mrs. Fedorowicz, and Sergeant Shefflin and his wife, both with $320, have tied for the chance at the big $1,500 question. Groucho, do you realize it will be here November 5th?
I didn't even know it had been away. What are you talking about?
Well, the day is Thursday, November 5th.
Certainly, and that's the day the magnificent 1954 DeSoto goes on display for the very first time.
That's right. Thursday, November 5th is D-Day. D for the stunning new DeSoto for 1954.
I knew it all the time.
Well, then why did you ask me what I was talking about?
Well, for some reason I thought you were thinking about a gorgeous blonde.
Well, why should I be thinking about a gorgeous blonde when I can remind the folks that November 5th is their first chance to see the dramatic new DeSoto for 1954?
Fenneman, I shall treat that question with the contempt it so richly deserves. Folks, go to your nearest DeSoto Plymouth dealers on November 5th and see the wonderful new DeSoto for 1954. And if you run across that blonde, tell her Groucho sent you.
Well, Groucho, here are the two couples tied for the chance at the big question. Mr. and Mrs. John Peter Fedorovich, Mr. and Mrs. Edward Shefflin. Each couple will decide on a single answer and write it down on a little piece of paper we've given them. If both couples get it right, they'll split the money between them. We all set? 15 seconds.
Yes, okay. One of the colorful figures of the gay 90s was a former newsboy who on July 23rd, 1886, allegedly jumped off the Brooklyn Bridge and survived. For $1,500, what was his name? Nothing? You wouldn't even write anything?
I didn't remember.
Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Fedorovich, huh? The gentleman over here is right. It's Steve Brody.
Oh, sure.
And you win $1,500.
Well, I'm sorry you didn't all win, but that's the way it goes.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
How much did they win in the quiz, George?
Well, they all won $320 in the quiz, and
well, you won $1,820. Congratulations. From the more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers from coast to coast, you bet your life.
Be sure to tune in again next Wednesday night at the same time for the Groucho Marx Show, when the big question will be worth $1,000. And don't forget Groucho's television show, also brought to you by the DeSoto Plymouth Dealers of America. Remember that the dealers who sell the remarkable new Plymouth, engineered and built to be your best buy in the low-priced field, will have the magnificent new 1954 DeSoto on display November 5th. DeSoto, Plymouth. Two great new cars, both products of the Chrysler Corporation.
And when you drive in, tell them Groucho sent you. Good night, folks, and remember, just be sure to see the distinguished new DeSoto.
Friends, tonight your DeSoto Plymouth dealers from coast to coast salute the National Safety Congress, which is celebrating its 41st anniversary. DeSoto is proud of the part it has played in making America highway safety conscious. Remember, the life you save may be your own. You Bet Your Life, transcribed from Hollywood, is produced by John Goodell, directed by Robert Dwan and Bernie Smith, music by Jerry Fielding. This is George Fenneman signing off for the more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers from coast to coast. You Bet Your Life is heard by our armed forces throughout the world.
Lost in Brazil invites you on an unforgettable journey where every moment is an adventure waiting to be discovered. Join us as we uncover the soul of Brazil, one incredible experience at a time. Click on the link in the description and embark on the ultimate Brazilian odyssey.
I'd rather have a Raleigh.
I'd rather have a Raleigh.
I'd rather have a Raleigh.
I'd rather have a Raleigh. Because Raleigh is the only cigarette that gives you all three. From Hollywood, the Raleigh Cigarette Program, starring Red Skelton with Gigi Pearson, Verna Felton, our charming singer Anita Ellis,
David Forrester and his orchestra, and yours truly, Rod O'Connor. Tonight, Raleigh's and thousands of friends welcome back to the air that G.I. Joe, ex-private Red Skelton.
Thank you very much, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. That's one of the nicest receptions I've received in a long time. No kidding.
Well, how does it feel to be walking around in civvies again, Red?
Oh, it's wonderful.
That ribbon on your lapel, what is it?
That's a good conduct ribbon. I got that from a girl in Italy.
Say, Red, did they have a hard time cultivating you into a soldier?
No, it doesn't take long. Once they start plowing you under, you know. Really, though, it was a great experience. I don't know what I'd have done without it. I wish I had.
Well, things are different to you now, huh, Red?
Oh, everything has changed. Why, when I left, people were siphoning gas from each other's cars. Clerks were firing the store owners. I hear now that you can buy meat right out in the open. You can go to a horse race now and enjoy the sport without drooling. No kidding, people used to walk down to the paddock, and instead of carrying a racing form, they had a bottle of ketchup under their arm. Things are really different, though, you know. Hey, who just came in?
Oh, that's the janitor. He said you used to be in camp with him, Red.
A janitor? Oh, Major Moose, how are you? Right after the show. Gee, everything is different now, isn't it? Say, I'd like to meet some of the people on the show.
Oh, by all means, Red. This is David Forrester, the orchestra leader.
Hello, Red.
How are you, David? Say, what happened to Ozzie Nelson?
Well, we tossed a dime to see who would work for you.
Oh, I see, and you won.
No, I lost.
Well, have you had the background that Ozzie's had?
No, but I've associated with people like Hosea Turby, Leopold Stokowski, and Romberg.
Oh, really? How about the Palladium? You ever been there?
Oh, no.
Well, gee, I wanted a guy with an orchestra that could play stuff like Beat Me Daddy with a Mushy Meatball.
Well, Red, this may be a 32-piece orchestra, but it can play that type of music.
32 pieces? You know where we got these orchestras, don't you? These are all old second lieutenants. I promised jobs to them.
Say, Red, do you know much about music?
Certainly. I play a piano, you know.
Really? I play the piano myself.
Both hands?
Yes.
Oh, well, you're way out of my class. You come from a family of musicians?
Oh, yes. Musicians ran in our family.
That bad, huh? Well, what do you play best?
Dice.
Roll them out. You're faded. 32 pieces. Say, how do you lead an orchestra like that many men?
With a baton.
Really? Looks like you got more men you can shake a stick at. What instruments do they have in the band, David?
Well, all kinds, Red. Listen to one of our drums.
After all these years, they're still together.
And here's a violin.
Oh, that's for me. Chopin, isn't it?
And here's a horn.
How do you like that? The piccolo player from Brooklyn.
No, Red, that's an auto horn. Listen again.
A car a day given away. Well, what do you know? The OPA finally got the price down to nothing.
Friends, the makers of Raleigh cigarettes are giving away 7 brand new 1946 Chevrolets each week. In fact, here's a winner right now.
Winner of December 1st, Mrs. James P. Baker of Grass Range, Montana. Congratulations, Mrs. Baker.
Now look what we've done. Another woman driver.
Yes, and there'll be more winners before we leave the air tonight. Think of it, friends. You can win a luxurious new car just like Mrs. Baker. Because there's a new contest every day.
Yes, a car a day given away.
Just think of it, a car with fenders.
Yes, they're the most gorgeous cars you ever saw. And you can see them at your local Chevrolet dealers. And then picture yourself behind the wheel, a shining new 1946 car, all yours. And here's how you can win one.
Take it away, announcer number 2.
Just complete this sentence. Complete this sentence in 25 words or less. We should all buy victory bonds because. Now, isn't that easy? You know lots of good reasons. So send in your entry tonight. We'll give you complete details later and more winners.
And remember, folks, Raleigh's are the only cigarette that gives you all three. Throat protection, better taste, lasting freshness.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. And now to the plot. We open our Skelton scrapbook to page 1, where we find David Forrester and his 32 orchestra painting a musical picture, Dancing in the Dark. And now we turn to page 3 in our scrapbook of satire, and we find the story of the returning soldier. Our characters are fictional. Any similarity to persons living would be better off dead. Chapter 2 is entitled Readjustment. It's the story of an ex-WAC lieutenant who can't adjust herself to civilian life. And being married to Willie Lump Lump, the night owl, doesn't make it easier.
$5:30. All right, everybody up. Come on. Lots of hubba, hubba, hubba.
Oh, shut up! Look, Amazon Mouth. You're a civvy now. You ain't a lieutenant no more.
Oh, look, don't you yell at me, K.T. Bates. Don't forget, I released a man to fight.
Yeah, well, you might be interested to know that he's looking for you right now with a baseball.
You'll get a household detail for that.
Just keep on, boy. That's all. You're going to get hit on top of the head so hard you're going to need open-toed shoes to see where you're going. You're going to wind up being the only woman in town with ears on her ankles. Now, pipe down. You better start remembering one thing. You're a civilian now, and the more arguments you win, the less friends you're going to have.
Willie.
You married me because of Mickey.
Mickey who?
The one you slipped me just before I said I'm going downtown.
We're not leaving here today until you get this place in order. I may pull an infection.
Will you forget the army, huh?
If you don't clean up, I'll give you.
If you don't shut up, I'll gag you. I'll get up. Hey, have I got any clean socks?
No, they're not back from the laundry yet.
What are they doing, hitchhiking? Hey, what's the order of the day, huh?
Well, we're having a party tonight. Mrs. Major Long Thompson will sit on my right, Colonel Bernstein at my left, and Mrs. Tommy Canada next to her, and Captain Virgil Smith at the head of the table.
Where do I sit?
Enlisted men eat in the kitchen.
Oh, no, you don't. Look, I've had about enough of you 90-day wonders. I love it. That's good. I can get away with it now, you know. And don't yell at me so hard. I get that old pain back in my head when you say.
Oh, and that's another thing. I told everyone you were discharged because of your back.
It was my head.
It was your back.
My head.
Your back.
Head.
And if you ever say I'm wrong and try to cut me again, you'll be sorry.
All right, then it's my back that hurts.
Well, where does your back hurt?
Right between my ears. Well, what's next on the details for today, huh?
Well, you've got to report to your dress board and let them know you're home. Come on, let's get going.
Car's outside.
Oh, there's the draft board.
Good. There's a parking place right there.
Well, you can't get this car in there.
Oh, yes, I can.
Oh, no, you can't.
Oh, yes, I can.
Well, all right, then. You can.
Oh, no, I can't. We'll double park. Come on, let's go on the draft board and see what old Laughing Boy got to say.
Now, Willie, let's not be bad sports. Put that 45 away.
What do you mean, bad sport? I was going to bring a bazooka.
Good morning. Oh, my husband and wife. And you're both veterans. Isn't that nice?
Yeah, ain't it, Now I can't even sneak off to a Legion Post meeting without her coming along. Legion Post. New organization I just started,
Who do you wish to see? Or are you re-enlisting?
Are you nuts?
Just reporting, I see.
Yeah.
Well, before you see Mr. Nabber, as we call him, you must remember that we're all very proud.
Oh,
Just because he wasn't drafted doesn't mean he didn't want to go. You see, your neighbors selected you.
Yeah, I saw that on the paper, too. I want to meet all of them, too.
You're a moron.
Yeah, and I got discharge papers to prove it.
You may go in now. And remember, the walls are not soundproof. And it would be useless for you to try to harm him because he wears a steel collar and a bulletproof vest. And if you get within 3 feet of his desk, an alarm sounds and you fall through a trap door.
Well, Willie Lump, I never expected to see you.
You didn't, eh, mate?
You got a match?
Yeah, here's a match.
Thanks. Oh, gee, I'm out of Raleigh's cigarettes.
Well, in that case, you can give me my match back.
I hear you got married.
Shanghai's the word.
What's your wife like?
Oh, she's like Betty Grable, Rita Hayworth, Lana Turner, all rolled in one.
That beautiful?
That big.
Well, now that you're home, I suppose you want a job.
Oh, no.
What did you do for a living before you went in the Army?
I ignored it.
Well, your discharge papers state you drove trucks. Do you think you could hold down a job as a parking lot attendant?
Oh, sure. I could park a dime or a car on a dime. My car's parked outside, double parked. Come on, I'll show you. Come on, I'll get my car. That Chevrolet put up a great fight, didn't it? Thank you. I think I'll take the car and sneak down the corner while old Pickle Puss ain't looking. Look out, kids. Here comes another California driver.
A car a day given away. It's time to announce another winner in Raleigh's sensational Car a Day contest.
Right. Another winner. But first, here's how you can win a brand new 1946 Chevrolet. One of those luxurious new cars that Raleigh's are giving away every day. Just complete this easy sentence in 25 words or less.
We should all buy victory bonds because. You know lots of good reasons. You can probably write out a prize-winning sentence right now.
Send your entry to Raleigh Cigarettes Box 1200, Chicago, Illinois, together with 2 complete wrappers from 2 packs of Raleigh cigarettes. That's Box 1200, Chicago, Illinois, together with 2 complete wrappers from 2 packs of Raleigh cigarettes.
You have lots of chances to win because there's a new contest every day. Yes, winners are chosen from entries each day.
Entries are judged on uniqueness, originality, and most convincing statement. Decision of the judges is final, and duplicate prizes in case of ties.
Entries become the property of Raleigh Cigarettes. Contest limited to United States and members of the armed forces abroad.
Remember that prize, a gorgeous new Chevrolet. So send in your entry tonight. You can win just like this winner of November 30th. Yes, another winner.
A new Chevrolet goes to Victor A. Branhart of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Congratulations, Mr. Branhart.
Now we turn to page 4 in the Skelton scrapbook. We find a picture of our lovely singing star, Miss Anita Ellis, and she sings That's For Me.
Adventures I've proved. There's nothing for me but the dream in my heart, and the dream in my heart that's for you. Oh, my darling, that's
Chapter 5 of The Returning Soldier, entitled My Son. This is the story of the returning soldier who meets his son for the first time, and what a joy. What a surprised expression will be on that father's face when he finds that his little boy is Junior, the mean little can, who's now living with his grandmother.
Junior, where are you?
Here I is, Nemo, up here. I just browsing through the record cabinet. Grandpa put something in here yesterday. I trying to find it.
What are you looking for? Beethoven's first or Mozart's third?
Grandpa's fifth. Oh, here it is. Look. A bottle.
Careful with it. You know your butterfinger.
They don't make glass like I used to, does they? Huh? Oh, look, it's eating a hole in the rug. Shoo, what is that stuff?
Perfume.
Yeah, 90 proof.
Now get down.
Yeah, you're not going to hit me, are you?
No, Junior.
Well, what are you doing holding that broom in your hand? Going to brush your teeth or something? Huh?
Now, Junior, Grandma wants you to stop jumping around. You'll make my cake fall.
Oh, you baking a cake, kiddo? Let's go see it, huh? Hey, you ain't using the stove in the kitchen, is you?
Yes, I am. Why?
Well, this morning I wired the stove for destruction. I was wondering what keeping it from blowing up, you know.
You're kidding me.
You just keep laughing, kiddo.
Junior, I'm not going to look because I just know you're not in my batter bowl.
Trusting old soul, ain't you?
Put it down, Junior.
No, I want to lick a bowl.
Granny says no.
No, you let me lick a bowl, I'm going to bang me head against the wall.
Junior, stop it. Stop banging your head against the wall. You're liable to blow out a fuse in the icebox.
Yeah. I am hungry.
Honey, you better go out and play. Granny has a lot of work to do.
What's all the excitement, Emma?
Your father's coming home today.
Yeah? Where he been?
Well, before you were born, he went overseas.
Couldn't face it, huh?
Run away and play now.
Okay. Hey, Grandma, was Grandpa in the war?
The first one.
Really?
Yes. He was attached to a French 75.
Attached to a French 75?
Yes, why?
Nothing. He like 'em much younger nowadays, though.
Out of the kitchen, Junior.
Okay. Oh, somebody at the door. I will go.
No, you stay here.
No, I want to answer the door, or you let me answer, I will tell.
You'll tell what?
I will tell everybody used to be a dachshund stretcher at a dog kennel. Now, can I go?
Go ahead.
Okay, I will see who is at the door. What you selling?
Nothing.
Well, what you collecting for?
Not a thing.
Well, who you got a warrant for?
Nobody.
Yeah, you got the wrong house, bud.
Who was it?
It was the wrong house.
I'll go this time. And don't make my cake fall.
Okay, I going back out in the kitchen, take a look at that angel food cake I just ate. Boy, that stove sure is hot. I going to open the oven door. That cake, where'd it go? He was big and now he's widow. I better run down that place and fix his flax and get him blowed up again. That's what I better do.
Junior, what happened?
You know your angel food cake? Just went to the devil. Hey, you're not going to whip me, are you?
No, Junior.
You're not going to whip me, are you?
No, dear.
No.
But look who's here.
Oh, him again.
Hello, son.
Yeah, who is that? Here, get that man out of here. Put me down! Grandma! He's a kidnapper!
Junior, I'm your father.
You will? Well, pull out me shirt tail and call me a teenager. Is you home for good?
Yes, and soon we'll have our own home with love and peace and quiet.
Yeah. With me, too?
Yeah?
Peace and quiet?
Yeah.
Pop, did you get out on point, or is you a psycho case, huh?
You know, son, I've always dreamed of this day with my own son, a real boy, 100% a little gentleman.
You don't know me very well, do you?
My, he's a healthy little Dickens, isn't he?
Yes, but last winter we almost lost him.
Really?
Yes, they did, but they didn't take me far enough out in the woods.
Shall we go to the living room?
Shall we go to the living room?
I have a lot of souvenirs for all of you. Does Dad still have his workshop, Mother? I have some live hand grenades that I want to take apart so they won't explode.
Yeah.
Where did Junior go? Junior, where are you?
Here I am, sitting on the banister at the top of the stairs.
I didn't hear you. Where did you say you were?
Right here, laying at the foot of the stairs.
Junior, you've been sliding down that banister again. Sometimes you act like you're a partner with the devil.
No, I is independent. This is a closed corporation.
Junior, I'll have to punish you.
Okay, I was wrong. I had it coming to me. Go ahead. But you sure fool me, you did.
What do you mean?
Well, you don't look like a mean person that goes around hitting little kids, you know. Why, you're the sweetest, the most beautiful grandma in the whole wide world, you is.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
run along then.
Boy, they sure eat that stuff up, though.
Mother, tell me, is he always this much trouble?
I guess you're going to have to take him in hand. Junior, do sit down.
I don't want to.
Now, you don't talk back to Granny, do you?
No, I'm not talking about. She said one thing and I have my own ideas.
Junior, go sit down.
I don't want to sit down.
I said sit down. Now, stay there.
You threw me in a chair. You broke me with a back.
Well, I couldn't have.
Yes, you did. You broke me back.
The chair's upholstered with pillows.
You sure is soft, isn't it?
Oh, Rod, come see your room. It's the same as it was before you went away.
Okay. Say, what time does Junior's mother get home from work?
Around 6:30. She's a wonderful girl you married.
Well, here I is all alone. Oh, look at them hanger maids in that suitcase there. Just like the ones in the comic book. I think I'll go show one of them to Grandma. Hey, Grandma, look. Hanger maids.
Good heavens, look.
Great Scott, Junior, that's a hand grenade.
I know. Look, it's got a little handle to carry about.
Put it down and back away.
No, let's play catch. Here, catch it.
No, don't throw it.
What's everybody scared about? Oh, the handle come off.
Oh, good heavens. Jim, get it away from me.
No, give it to me. Don't throw it away. Now look what you done. You broke it.
Yeah, that's not all I'm going to break.
No.
Now go to bed.
Oh, God. I don't know what it is with me. No matter how the day ends up, I always end up.
And remember, we'll all be with you now from now on every Tuesday night at the same time. Until next Tuesday, then.
This is Red Skelton again, and I'd like to read a note to some of my friends. Dear Hildegard, may I thank you for the wonderful job you did while I was away. And may your success in the new Raleigh room over NBC starting tomorrow night reach even greater heights. I'd like to thank Danny, Kay Kaiser, Eddie Canner, Danny Kay, Fred Allen, Amos and Andy, Fibber McGee, and Molly, Bob Hope, for telling their listeners that we were coming back tonight. This is Red Skelton saying goodbye now, and thanks for listening.
And remember, listen to Hildegard tomorrow night, and The People Are Funny Friday night over most of these stations. Red Skelton is heard on this program through the courtesy of Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer.
Sir Walter Raleigh. That's the tobacco that leaves your pipe clean as a whistle. It's carefully blended from rich, ripe burleys and mellowed with just a touch of rum to enhance the natural, full-bodied flavor. Get Sir Walter Raleigh, the quality pipe tobacco of America.
Red Skelton is brought to you by Brown and Williamson Tobacco Corporation. National Broadcasting Company. Tobacco Corporation. National Broadcasting Company.
Enjoying the timeless classics on Golden Age Radio? If you're loving the nostalgia and captivating stories, consider supporting our channel with a tip. Your generosity helps us continue bringing you the best of vintage radio entertainment. Simply click on the link in the description.
Kraft presents The Great Gildersleeve. Each week at this time, Kraft presents from Hollywood, California, Harold Perry as The Great Gildersleeve, written by Leonard L. Levinson. We'll hear from the great Gildersleeve in just a moment. In the meantime, November is here again. Yes, and crisp, frosty November weather is going to make the whole family feel like working harder and playing harder, too. So now the right kind of energy food becomes more important than ever. Yes, right now it's very important that your family gets plenty of wholesome, nourishing food. Food that provides energy and vitamins, that gives you and the children the kind of nourishment everyone needs. Now, Parquet margarine, made by Kraft, is just such a food. Yes, Parquet margarine is a wholesome, highly nutritious food made from selected American farm products. Parquet is one of the best sources of food energy you can serve. What's more, Parquet margarine is a reliable source of vitamin A. Every pound contains 9,000 units of this important vitamin. Now, all this wouldn't do much good if your family didn't like Parquet margarine. Well, we're sure they will. Yes, they're bound to like Parquet's delicious flavor, whether you serve it at the table or use it for baking and pan frying. So order delicious, economical Parquet margarine tomorrow. Just ask for Parquet. P-A-R-K-A-Y. And now let's visit our friend, the great Gildersleeve.
Leroy?
Yes, Uncle Mort?
Come in here a minute, will you? I want to... Say, how did you get that scratch on your nose? And by George, your shirt's all torn, too. What's happened to you?
Well, I had a slight argument with a friend of mine.
A slight argument with a friend, eh? I'd hate to see you after a big fight with a stranger. Where did you two argue? Inside a cement mixer?
Nope. All the way from our backyard to Georgie Beasley's front steps.
Oh.
It was a sort of a running argument.
Yes. Now, Leroy, I disapprove of you holding knuckle debates with your little chums.
But gee, Uncle Mort, you should have heard what Georgie said.
No matter what he said, it wasn't the friendly thing to do.
Well, if you'd have heard, you'd understand why I had to bop him on the smeller.
You bop him on the smeller? Leroy, where do you pick up that kind of language?
From you. Remember Wednesday when you almost ran into that truck?
That truck almost ran into me, young man. And besides, I don't recall using those words.
It was just after the truck driver told you to go.
Leroy, never mind. Let's get back to you. Young man, you must realize that you can't keep friendships by indulging in pugilistic altercations.
What's that?
Poking people in the puss. Yeah.
Well, who wants to be friends with old Georgie Beasley anyhow?
Now, Leroy, friends are more precious than gold or diamonds. What would a man have if he didn't have any friends?
Gold or diamonds?
That's right. No! Leroy, I want you to go over to Georgie Beasley's house and apologize.
Well, not right now. His big brother is home.
Oh.
And besides, I'm not going to shake hands with him after what he said about you.
Come. Remember, sticks and stones may break... About me? What did he say?
Well, I don't like to repeat it.
But I want to know.
Now, Uncle Mort, you'd only get angry. Yeah. And besides, your head isn't any fatter than anybody else's.
So he called me a fathead, did he?
Yeah, how'd you find out?
Wait till I tell his mother about this.
Oh, you won't have to do that, Uncle Mort. He was just repeating what she said.
Oh, let's drop the subject, Leroy. Only remember one thing. Friends are wonderful things to have. Because when you're over your head in debt, a friend won't let you down. And when you're up to your ears in trouble, a friend won't let you down. And when you find out you're on a limb...
A friend won't let you down then either.
Yes. Say, that reminds me. I've been meaning to look up an old friend from back home ever since I came to Summerfield.
Does he live here?
Yes, a fellow named Charlie Dapple. I'll get in touch with him right now. Hand me the phone book, will you, please?
Sure.
Thanks. Great chap, Charlie. I remember when I was first struggling to get into the girdle business. It was Charlie who helped me.
To get into girdles?
No, young man. Yes. He owned Dapple's department store at the time. He snapped up the first 10 dozen I made. Yes, he had a stretcher point to do it, too.
Did that help you?
Yes, sir. It pulled me out of a mighty tight squeeze. Let me see. Daniels, Danner, Dante. Here we are. Dapple, Charles. 147 Olive Street. Pimento 4733. That'll be good to see good old Charlie Dapple again after all these years. Yeah. Hello. Could I speak to Charlie Dapple, please?
Well, he isn't home now. This is Mrs. Dapple.
Mrs. Dapple? Well, don't tell me that good old Charlie's married after all these years. Congratulations, Mrs. Dapple. You're a mighty lucky woman.
Thank you. That's what Charlie keeps saying.
Yeah.
Who is this?
What was that?
Who is this?
Well, when did the big event take place?
3 years ago, Labor Day. Who is this?
Well, good old Charlie married on Labor Day. Say, I'll bet you're a redhead.
No, I'm a brunette. What made you think I was a redhead?
Well, you know how Charlie always went. No, I guess you don't.
Maybe not, but I will. Who is this?
Oh, it's an old friend from back home, Throckmorton P. Gildersleeve. Doesn't that name mean anything to you?
No.
Oh, but surely he's told you about the times we used to have together. Didn't he ever talk about Atlantic City?
No. What about Atlantic City?
Well, it's in New Jersey.
Well, he'll be home any minute, and I'll ask him all about it.
Oh, no. Let's make it a surprise.
Make what a surprise?
Well, I'm going to drop over for a visit.
Oh, but really, Mr.
Now, come, Mrs. Dapple. I haven't seen your husband for 5 years. Let's see, you live at 147 Olive, eh?
Yes, it's an apartment house. The Venus de Milo Arms.
Well, I think I can find it. I'll drop in half an hour.
Oh, but I don't know if you should come today, Mr. Silvercoat.
Gildersleeve's the name. Yeah. Now, don't fix anything special for me. Just think of me as one of the family. Goodbye. This is going to be fun surprising Charlie. He loves surprises. I'll never forget the night he sneaked a lot of his wax dummies into my office to scare me the next morning.
And did it?
It would have if our night watchman hadn't shot 6 of them. He claimed they pulled a knife on him.
Mr. Dapple sounds like a keen guy.
He is, Leroy. Good old Charlie. Come along and meet him.
Oh, but I wanted to go to a movie.
We can go afterwards. Come on.
Yes?
Mrs. Dapple?
Yes?
Well. Charlie certainly picked himself a lovely little bride.
What? Oh, you must be the man who phoned, Mr. Silversleeve.
Gildersleeve. By the way, is my old sidekick home yet?
Well, no, and I've been expecting him for an hour.
All right, Unc, let's go to that movie.
Come back here, young man. Mrs. Dapple, this is my nephew, Leroy.
Oh, how do you do?
How do you do?
Well, come right in.
Thank you.
Oh, now, don't look at this room. It's a mess.
Oh, no, it just has that lived-in look.
Well, Charlie should be home any minute now. Mm-hmm. On Saturday afternoons, he usually stops at several places on the way home. To get the football scores, you know.
Yes, I know how it is. No, not a baby. Mind if we look?
Oh, no.
Come on, Leroy. Don't you want to see the baby?
No, I just want to see the movie.
Okay, young man. No baby, no movie.
Let's see the baby.
Yeah, that's better. Well, Mrs. Dapple. What a handsome, husky child. What's his name, Charlie?
No, Gertrude.
Oh, pardon me, Gertrude. Ooh, zitty-bitty babums a zoo.
Oh, dear, you frightened her.
Maybe it's her face, Uncle Mort.
Nonsense, Leroy. Babies just love my face.
Now, Mother's little angel cake. Shush.
Yeah, shush. I know it'll quiet her, Mrs. Dapple. It's one trick that always works. I got it right here in my pocket.
Gee, Unc, are you carrying around a bottle of milk?
No. It's my watch, Leroy. Yeah. Now listen, little cupcake. You hear the tick-tick?
Oh, isn't that cute? She's holding it to her ear.
Yes. There's nothing like a piece of jewelry to stop a girl from crying.
Oh, dear me, the phone again.
Phone?
Now, let go of the gentleman's watch, darling, so I can put you down. No, now, Mother's lamb, let go. Oh, dear, she won't let go. Well, you'll just have to hold him, Mr. Gildersleeve, while I take that call.
But it's been years since I held a baby that young.
Oh, no. Don't you be afraid.
Huh?
Once you've learned, you never forget. It's like swimming.
Swimming, I'll bet it is. Yeah.
Oh. Here, hold Gertrude, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Well, all right. Take it easy, Gertrude. Oh, well, jiggly, isn't she? Whoa, now.
I'll be back in just a minute.
You better come back now. She's getting restless. Now, see here, Gertrude. Oh, I was just kidding. Relax. Kitchy, kitchy, goo. Kitchy, kitchy, goo. Oh.
Gee, Uncle Mort, I never knew you could take care of babies.
I can't. Leroy, would you like to hold little Gertie a while?
Not me. Come on, let's ditch her and go see Hopalong Cassidy.
Yep, wait a minute. I can't get my watch and chain away from her. And now, Gertrude, you've had your little fun, so let loose.
No use trying to force her, Unc.
Huh?
She'll get tired of it pretty soon and just drop the whole thing.
That's what I'm afraid of.
I see. If she drops the watch, you get the works.
Leroy, don't poke fun. Now, Gertie, let go of Uncle Throckmorton's 21-jewel nasty gold watch. Yeah, that's a good girl. You see, Leroy, I got it back. Oh, now she's got a hold of my hair. Let go, Mother's little devil's food cake.
Say, she certainly is a cute kid.
Leroy, don't stand there. Do something.
Well, if I could find a pair of scissors, I could cut off that hunk of hair she's holding.
No! Ouch! Gertrude, unhand my hair.
Say, she likes you.
Yeah, she's practically drooling over me.
Well, really, Mr. Gildersleeve, what are you doing to that baby?
Madam, you better ask the baby what she's doing to me.
Oh, now, let go of the man's hair, darling. There.
Thanks. Oh, my scalp. Feels like I just lost a decision to Sitting Bull.
Now you just lie in your blanket like a good little girl while Mama runs down to the gas company.
Yes. Now?
Yes, or else I don't know what we'll ever do over the weekend. Charlie was supposed to attend to it.
But you're not going to leave us alone here with Gertrude.
Oh, she won't give you any trouble, will you, sweetheart? See?
Yes.
Well, Charlie will probably be here before I return. Oh, and in case he isn't, just heat the baby's bottle in 10 minutes.
10 minutes?
Take the roast out of the oven in a quarter of an hour.
Take the roast.
Then light a fire under the soup.
Fire the soup.
And if a COD package comes, it's all right to pay for it.
But I...
And if it gets any cooler, phone down to the janitor for more heat.
Huh?
Goodbye.
Light a fire under the janitor. Put the COD in the oven. Phone down for the baby's bottle. Oh, my...
Supposed to fold it the other way.
Leroy, I know which way it folds. After all, I used to be a baby myself. Yeah. Now, don't get fidgety, Gertie. Remember, Rome wasn't built in a day.
Careful with that safety pin, Uncle Mort.
Oh, my. Why don't these things come with zippers? Yes, Mother's little leg of lamb.
You better hurry up, Uncle Mort. Gertrude's getting restless. And cold, too.
Well, it's her own fault. She keeps kicking it off.
Well, if you can't pin it, why don't you just leave it off altogether?
No, Leroy. We've got to pin Gertrude down some way with this blanket. There we are. I wonder what makes her do that.
Maybe she's just bored with everything. When she isn't yelling, she's yawning.
Well, that's because she should be sleeping, Leroy. Possibly if I told her some little anecdote, that might put her to sleep. It always works at the Rotary Club.
Why don't you just try singing her to sleep?
That's a fine idea. Friends have told me my voice reminds them of a meadowlark singing bass.
Okay, Unc, make for the lullabies.
All right. What would you think of Asleep in the Deep? You know. Many brave hearts are asleep in the deep. Too deep. How about Rockabye Baby?
That's it. Go ahead, Uncle Mort.
All right, let me see. I think it goes, Rockabye Baby in the treetop. Yes. When the wind blows, the cradle will rock. I can't remember how the rest goes.
Down will come baby, cradle and all.
Yeah, that's it. Rockabye Gertrude on the treetop.
She's going to sleep, so you better not stop.
When the bough breaks, the cradle goes lower.
You're doing swell, Unc. Sing it once more.
Rockabye, baby, let's go, Leroy. She's closing her eyes, so let's tiptoe into the other room, my boy.
Let's wait here till both eyes she shuts. Look out for that pen!
Oh, nuts. Rock-a-bye, baby. Oh, what's the use? I have been singing till my tonsils are loose.
You better give up, Unc. Whatever it is that kid wants, it ain't a meadowlark that sings bass.
Yeah, I'm afraid you're right, Leroy.
Gee, if this takes much longer, we won't see those two pictures before dinner.
Leroy, if this takes much longer, we won't even see dinner. I better call home and tell your sister we'll be late. Hand me that telephone. The idea. Me playing nursemaid to a baby. Fine thing.
Hello?
Oh, hello, Marjorie. Looks like Leroy and I'll be a little late for dinner tonight, my dear. We stopped in to see an old friend.
Who's that? Your old friend?
No, it's Gertrude. She's just a baby. Yes. Leroy and I are taking care of her. For Mrs. Dapple. She's out taking care of the gas. Yes, and we're even taking care of the cooking.
Oh, you, Uncle Mort, taking care of the cooking?
Yes. I was supposed to take the roast out of the oven and put the soup on the fire. But I had to put the soup in the oven because the roast was on fire.
Oh, poor Uncle Mort.
Yeah.
Have you been having much trouble with the baby?
Well, I've been singing Rock-a-Bye Baby to her, but something tells me she'd prefer there'll be some changes made.
I think I'd better come over and help you.
That's a marvelous idea. And bring Bertie, Marjorie. Maybe she can patch up the dinner I've ruined.
All right. Oh, I think I know what's wrong with that baby. It's probably hungry.
Hungry? Say, I never thought of that. Let me have a look. Oh, my goodness, that's what it must be. Marjorie, hurry over quickly.
What's wrong?
Gertrude's so hungry she's trying to swallow her foot.
Have you got that all straight now?
I think so, Mrs. Dapple. We're to shut off the gas at 147 Olive this afternoon and turn it on at 3214 Winslow. Is that right?
Correct. We're moving away from the Olive Street apartment tonight, and I don't want any slip-up.
Oh, there won't be.
Oh, now, can I change my light and water here, too?
No, the Light and Water Company's down at 10th and Spring Streets.
Oh, dear. Well, that'll take me an hour. I left someone with my baby, and I promised to be right back. Oh, well, they'll just have to wait.
Really, Marjorie, the way you've handled that baby is a revelation to me.
Yeah, you're certainly tidy with a diety.
Yeah. Where did you ever learn all that, my dear?
Oh, I took child psychology in school.
Yes, but Gertrude didn't. How did you ever two get together?
Oh, it was easy. In dealing with hysteria and psychoneurosis in the field of speculative philosophy relating to the young, the prime factor was a thorough understanding of the mental and nervous processes of the infant mind. Simple, isn't it?
Either it is or I am. Say, Leroy, how's Bertie doing?
Oh, Bertie, how's everything?
I'm doing as well as I can, considering.
Considering what, Bertie?
The cupboards.
Oh, what's wrong with the cupboards here, Bertie?
Well, from the looks of them, these folks seems to have a mighty fine assortment of nothing.
Nothing? What do you mean? Make yourself plain.
Okay, I'll speak plain, but it's gonna sound ugly. These folks has got just about enough food in their kitchen for one meal.
Do you mean that Mrs. Dapple's cupboard is empty?
Man, that cupboard couldn't be any better than if that lady's name was Hubbard.
Oh. This is terrible. I never dreamed for a moment they were destitute.
Well, what are we going to do, Uncle Mort?
Don't worry, I'll fix things up, Marjorie. Bertie, take this $10 bill down to the nearest store and buy a lot of groceries.
Yes, sir. Better make out a list.
Yes.
Some canned goods.
Oh, Uncle Mort. That's terribly sweet of you.
And some sugar.
Oh, it's nothing, my dear. I get a lump in my throat.
Lump sugar.
And a sinking feeling in my heart.
Baking soda.
When I think of what's ahead.
A head of cabbage.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. It brings the tears to my eyes.
And onions.
I suppose they just gradually got into debt and couldn't...
Catch up.
That's it. They couldn't catch up. Bertie, are you still here? You better get going. Take Leroy along to help you carry the bundle.
Okay, Uncle Mort.
Hurry out the back way. I'll bet that's my old pal now. And will I clap hands if here comes Charlie?
Now, see here, Dapple. We've exhausted our patience with you. Why do you ignore our letters? Why do you hang up when we telephone? Why don't you be a man and make your payments on that piano like you promised?
No, see here, mister. I'm not Dapple. But by George, if I was and you used that tone, I'd cuff you around till you'd crawl back into the woodwork.
Oh, yeah? Well, if you're not Dapple, what do you care how I talk to him, you big blimp?
He's my friend, and you can't abuse an absent friend in my presence, especially if he isn't here.
Uncle Mort, not so loud.
Huh? Oh, that's right. Not so loud, mister. If you want to fight, just step inside.
Okay. But this time when I leave, I'm taking that piano with me.
Over my dead body.
That makes it even more attractive.
Oh. One more crack like that, and I'll shove that swollen zither down your noisy throat. Now, you take your hat off and state your business before I forget my manners and bop you on the smeller.
Now, take it easy, Tubbsy.
Whoop.
My name is Baxter of the Summerfield Washing Machine and Piano Company. Now, this fellow Dapple has been buying this piano from us on the installment plan, only he ain't kept up his payments.
Well, I happen to know that Mr. Dapple has been up against it pretty badly lately. Couldn't you just kind of forget the payments this month?
Forget it? How can I? I've got a memory like an elephant.
Yeah, and a hide like one, too. All right, then. How much is the payment? I'll give it to you myself.
No, you won't. According to our contract, once a payment is defaulted, the entire remaining balance becomes automatically due.
Oh, my goodness. How much does he still owe on it?
Now, let's see. I've got it right here. It's $74.
$74 more? Why, that mahogany monstrosity over there was never worth that in the first place.
Either I get the money or else the piano.
Yes, I think you mean it. Well, Charlie Dapple helped me up when I was getting started, so I can't let him down when he's just about finished. I'll write you a check for the $74. Let's see. That'll leave me with a balance of 28 cents. Yeah, now there's somebody at the back door. I better go see. I'm coming, you blasted woodpecker.
Excuse me, I'm the gas man.
Don't want any. I got enough gas.
I come to shut it off.
Shut it off? Didn't Mrs. Dapple call at your office this afternoon, probably to pay the bill?
Look, brother, I'm a guy who sticks strictly to his own job.
Yeah.
I got an order saying turn off gas at Dapple Apartment 147 Olive Street. And that's what I'm going to do, brother.
Yeah. Well, let's not be too hasty about this, brother. Suppose I pay the bill to you right now.
No, I ain't allowed to take no money. You don't understand, brother. I'm just the guy who gets orders to turn gas on and to turn it off.
Yeah.
Then I go where it says, and I turn gas on, or else I turn it off. That's all I do.
Oh, sounds mighty monotonous.
I like being monotonous.
Yeah. Look here, brother. By the way, what's your name?
Herman Peebles.
Herman Peebles. Look here, Hermie. Peebles live here, too. Simple Peebles. Kindly Peebles. The salt of the earth. Things have been a little tough for him lately. And there's another mouth to feed, too.
You mean?
Yes, that's what I mean. A tiny baby named Little Gertrude. Yeah, think what it would mean to poor little Gertrude if she didn't have any gas. No hot milk. No hot water. No hot air.
It's tough.
Yes. Winter is approaching, too, Hermie. Need I say more?
No. Don't worry, mister. I'm not going to shut off the gas here today.
You're not?
No, I just can't.
Well, I'm certainly glad I convinced you.
Wasn't you, mister. Just remembered I left my tools at the office.
Just as soon as a Dapple shows its nose through that door.
I done cooked this rib roast so long it's done shrunk down to the size of a lamb chop.
Well, personally, I wouldn't mind staying all evening, only I've got a previous engagement.
It's them. I'll get the door.
We come for the furniture. To take it away.
This is the last straw.
Don't let them do this to little Gertrude, Unc.
You're right, Leroy. You men can't do this to a poor little helpless baby.
We ain't doing nothing to no baby. Take the other end of this sofa, Terry. I got it. Now, get out of the way, mister.
By George, they're not going to get away with this.
Uncle, put down that vase.
I was just trying to help the men out there.
Don't do us no favors. We'll help ourselves out. Careful coming out that door, Terry. Okay.
Quick, Leroy, lock the door. Now we got to figure out some way to prevent him from stripping the apartment.
Mr. Gillsleeve, a lady just come in the back way and says she's Miss Dapple. Here she comes now.
Oh, at last.
Oh, thank you ever so much, Mr. Gildecoff.
Yes. That's all right. Where's Charlie?
Well, I can't imagine. Unless he's... Oh, of course.
Huh?
This was his Saturday to work late at the office. But he'll be here any minute now. That is, if he comes straight home.
He better come straight home. There are a couple of men roaming around trying to repossess your furniture.
Repossess our furniture? Well, I can't imagine. Oh, why, you must mean the moving men.
Yeah, they're moving men. They're trying to move everything you got right out of here.
Well, of course. We're moving over to Winslow Avenue today.
Oh, my goodness. How can Charlie do this to me? And what about the piano? The collector tried to take it away, but I stopped him.
Well, you should have let him have it.
Huh?
We just played it to break our lease here.
Your lease in my pocketbook, madam.
Well, we better hurry up and get ready to leave. Oh, did the men come to turn off the gas?
Yeah, and you should have seen them turn on the tears.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there's my husband now.
Yeah?
There's something about the way he knocks that I can always recognize.
Oh, at last. Mrs. Dapple, I've been waiting for this moment all afternoon. Do you mind if I hide in the dining room, and then when good old Charlie comes in, I'll jump out and yell surprise? Please, that's all I have left.
Well, that'll be cute. All right, go right ahead.
Leroy, Marjorie, Bertie, I want you to get in on this.
Okay.
Come on, let's hide.
Hello, Charlie, darling.
How are you, sweetheart? What's the idea of keeping the door locked?
Well, I don't know. In fact, I don't know half of what's been going on around here. Oh, but come into the living room, dear. There's a little surprise for you.
Surprise? What do you mean? Where's the surprise?
Oh, boy, surprise, Charlie, surprise. Where's Charlie?
I'm Charlie. Who in thunder are you?
Oh, my goodness.
Gee, Unc, what's the matter?
It's that man. I never saw him before. He's the wrong Charlie Dapple.
The great Gildersleeve will be with us again in a few minutes. But first, I wonder why I always talk to the ladies in our audience, because after all, some of us men aren't such bad cooks. Why, I can fry a wonderful egg. I can even make pretty good biscuits. So really, we men should know about delicious Parquet margarine, too. So this is for men only. Next time you men feel like whipping up a batch of biscuits, use Parquet margarine, made by Kraft. You see, Parquet margarine is a real flavor shortening. It adds flavor to all baked foods. So no wonder the wife's cookies and cakes taste better when made with Parquet. And if you like pan-fried foods, you'll find they're tastier, too, when you use Parquet margarine. And you don't have to worry about Parquet spattering or sticking to the pan. Of course, you'll want to use Parquet margarine at the table, for you'll like its delicate, appetizing flavor. Now, maybe you men aren't as interested in nutrition as the women are, but you should know that Parquet margarine is a nourishing energy food that contains vitamin A. So, men, if you can't find Parquet margarine at home, buy a pound or two tomorrow. You'll be pleased to learn that it's mighty economical, too. Just ask the dealer for Parquet. P-A-R-K-A-Y.
Yes, now, just a second till I find my key, children.
Oh, I'm tired.
Yes.
Hey, somebody put a note under the door. It's for you, Uncle Mort.
Well, note, eh? I wonder who it's from. Dear pal Throcky, George Fitty just told me you were in town, so I dropped over to see you. Sorry I missed you. Your old pal and sidekick, Charlie Dapple. Good night.
Original music heard on this program was composed and conducted by William Randolph. This is Jim Bannon speaking for the Kraft Cheese Company and inviting you to be with us again next week at this same time for the further adventures of the great Gildersleeve. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
Exciting news for the vibrant Boston, Brazil videos showcasing heart-pounding adventures, mouth-watering cuisine, and hidden gems of this incredible country. From bustling cities to tranquil beaches, our videos capture the essence of Brazil's beauty. Experience the warmth of its people, the rhythm of its music, and the thrill of exploration. Click on the link in the description to find out more.
I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to Old Time Radio Research Group for their remarkable efforts in preserving and archiving the captivating world of old-time radio programs. Their invaluable contribution allows us to step back in time and experience the magic of radio history firsthand. Their link is in the description below.